Ultimate MK Podquest.
Welcome. Was that good? Welcome. How's that? Is that Shao Kahn? Yeah. Hey, it's me, Neil, again. What you're about to hear is a special episode we recorded with none other than the host of Mortal Podkast, big shot Hollywood writer-director Ben Mekler himself, for his Patreon. Corey and I flipped the script and make Ben question everything he thought he knew about Mortal Kombat lore by taking him through the first 6 episodes of Mortal Kombat Conquest from the perspective of the Great Kung Lao. We got plans to do more episodes with Ben, so if you want early access to those, go check out Mortal Podkast with a K on Patreon. And if you want to support our show, head over to ko-fi.com/mkpodquest and buy us a jar of wine, or check out our anchor page in the links in the episode description. Also, a quick reminder that Mortal Kombat Conquest is on HBO Max, so go watch it. Just watch it all the time like I do, over and over again. Just do it. So, in lieu of the Mortal Podcast intro, we're going to ride into the episode with the updated Podquest anthem Monk Crumble remix to celebrate this trip back to the trading post, and we will be back next week to actually, finally, talk about Mortal Kombat Annihilation. But for now, let's just get right into it.
Applebee's is occupied by one especially horny god of thunder. And he says some truly fucked up sex shit, I guarantee you 100%, Neil.
More souls for daddy. More souls for daddy.
MK Podquest.
More souls for daddy. More souls for daddy.
Sounds like this show has
a reptile dysfunction.
big beefy boys. God, they're both extremely horny.
All right, bet, but you got to get jumped in first.
But what he asked for was breakfast in bed, so why didn't you keep it in the bed? Yeah, but like, what I'm saying is,
But if
what if he gets upstairs and he throws back the covers and there's just like a plate of food there and he's like, fuck yeah.
6 to 8 discrete air horns. 6 to 8 discrete air horns. 6 to 8 discrete air horns. 6 to 8 discrete air horns.
No.
First of all, was not a flawless victory.
He got punched.
At all.
He got hit
You
a
got
lot.
punched a lot.
So much.
A lot. Lost a majority of what I would describe as the health bar. Hey, I just got this at Toys R Us. And
I'm Quan Chi. I finally got to the toy store. This is what I got. Do you like it?
Shang Tsung let me buy these cool chattering skulls. Now I'm gonna go pantsing because I hate my dad. The Monk Crumble is the sequel to the Monster Mash. Step 1, you get in the bed. Step 2, you got sand in the bed. Step 3, blow away from the bed. Now you're doing the Monk Crumble.
Welcome to Mortal Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Mekler, and this is the show where I walk my friends through the entirety of Mortal Kombat lore from the perspective of a single character. But today things are different. Today things are very different. Today I'm going to be walked through the entirety of Mortal Kombat Conquest lore, or at least the first few episodes, by a couple friends of mine who have their very own Mortal Kombat Podquest. I got the boys from MK Podquest, Neil Hallstrom and Corey Price here today. Neil, Corey, hello.
Howdy.
Hello. Very excited.
Now,
Yes.
for anyone listening who isn't aware of MK Podquest, which I'm guessing is absolutely nobody listening,
Right, we're
real
huge in
quick,
Hungary.
Yeah.
That's true.
For everyone outside of the greater Hungary area, walk me through, what MK Podquest is all about. Because the gist of the show today is that there is a Mortal Kombat television series that I actually am relatively unaware of. I know it exists. I've seen an episode or two here or there. I don't know much about it. 2 longtime listeners of Mortal Podcast. This is
We're
gonna
gonna have
be
this
happening.
problem a lot.
Yeah, we're just gonna brundle fly together by the end. 2 dedicated listeners and now friends of mine, Neil and Corey, have created their own Mortal Podcast-esque breakdown of every single moment of the series, and are now, I would imagine, the world's foremost experts on
We
Mortal
simply have to be. There's no way we're not.
Yeah.
how would you describe the show?
Horny is our main
Yeah.
word,
Got
I
it.
think.
Okay.
Yes.
That's our primary
That's a good
descriptor. I think it's in the vein of your Hercules and Xena sort of under budgeted fantasy TV shows.
Two of the best
essentially
ever made. Yeah.
Yes. And we'll get a little bit more into like how it picks up or whatever, but essentially it is a TV show where it's often an excuse to get hot people to fight. That's a lot of what this show is trying to do.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
So, yeah, Mortal Kombat Conquest is a television show made by Threshold Entertainment and Lawrence Kasanoff. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guy who produced the live action movies. And Threshold Entertainment also did the Defenders of the Realm cartoon. They made this show after Mortal Kombat Annihilation as a prequel to the live action Mortal Kombat movies. So it's all part of like this bigger universe. And yeah, I mean, that's basically the setup. They went back and just made a prequel series to their live action movies for basic cable.
Where
Like
did it
the,
air
go ahead.
in the States? Was it UPN?
TBS and it, or no, I'm sorry, TNT, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
They know
and
drama.
it aired before
They do.
I think a WCW show on Friday nights.
Okay.
That would have been
So it was-
Nitro, I think.
Yeah,
No, Monday Nitro. Nitro is Mondays. So it would have been. Oh, what was the other one called?
yeah. This was back in 98, 99.
Before my
Yeah.
time. I can't help here.
Yeah, Corey wasn't born yet.
I was if it was 99, I was 2.
Jesus Christ.
It's fucked up, right?
Yeah. My Friday nights were reserved for spending time with my Sega Dreamcast. So
Regardless of what wrestling show we can't remember the name of.
I'm Googling it. I need to know. It was WCW. Was it main event? That doesn't sound. Thunder. It was Thunder.
What a bland name. That could be anything.
I want
don't
to
know,
say
whatever.
that Thunder aired on Thursdays, though. It doesn't matter. I mean, it kind of matters, but it doesn't matter.
I know a few wrestling shows from a couple different promotions did change days of the week, and it was always like a big sticking point. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Get over it. I guess fans were like, I don't want to reschedule my whole life to do this, much in the way that Neil and I have rescheduled our entire lives to talk about Mortal Kombat Conquest a lot.
Yeah.
And
you know, I think we should announce this now on this show, since we've only got 2 episodes of Conquest left to cover on our show. We are going to move on to cover just all the rest of the Mortal Kombat shit, like the movies,
Ambitious.
the cartoon, everything. We're just going to keep it going until we just can't take it anymore.
until we reach capacity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As a quick setup for the TV show, Ben, I think you probably know this, but in terms of touching points that you will be familiar with, this is the Great Kung Lao. That is where we're sort of operating in time-wise.
So roughly
you can
100
situate yourself
years
there.
before the first Mortal Kombat video game.
Or
Or was it 500? 500 years.
500 years.
500.
Yeah. Yeah, we're about 500 years before Liu Kang is on the scene. Yeah, should we just get into it?
Well,
Mhm.
there's one thing that we want to cover first, and I think
That's
you have
true.
this on hand, Neil. There is one
Yes.
unifying theme, correct?
Correct. Yeah, in Mortal Podcast fashion, we do want to set this up with a question, Ben. There is one unifying theme that links every single episode and every single character in Mortal Kombat Conquest,
Wow.
and that theme is horniness.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
our question to you is there a time in your life where you've been horny?
Nope.
Okay.
Never
Not
once.
once.
In all seriousness, we do have an actual theme.
Oh, okay.
If you don't want to directly address the horniness question, which is
I was
perfectly
gonna
understandable.
look inward, but no. Well, what's the other thing?
This is why you gotta leave space to breathe when you're making content, because we could have had a
You do.
really good bit there, but alas,
You got to really let him choke.
truly. But so the story of the Great Kung Lao, and everybody to varying degrees,
Mhm.
is primarily one of personal sacrifice, He's constantly being asked to put his own wants and hopes aside to benefit Earthrealm, and is also constantly doing that for friends and random people he encounters in the forest, fighting people, etc. So Ben, our less invasive question for you, in a way, has there ever been a time in your life you've had to sacrifice what you wanted for the greater good?
Is there ever a time I've made a horny sacrifice?
Yes.
For the greater good.
Of who, that's up to you.
Boy, I'm trying to think about it now, and also how to answer that question without sounding self-aggrandizing. Well, I became a dad. That's, in a sense, a form of sacrifice. It's a lot of my time. Now goes to keeping another person alive. That said, it's like really fun, so it doesn't feel like sacrifice per se. I've given blood. One time I gave blood and I got really lightheaded and nauseous, so I got a box of Whoppers and I ate them in a CVS.
Well, wait, not burgers, right?
No,
it can't be
no,
burgers.
No. Sorry, a box of Whoppers, the candy.
Like
Maybe they don't have them
okay.
in Canada. They might be called Maltesers there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know both.
A lot of regional lingo we're gonna have to figure out today.
Yes. Yeah, I got a box of Burger King Whoppers, and I ate about probably a dozen, maybe a baker's dozen, and let me see. I gotta see if there's just like one more good one in there. I mean, horny sacrifice does seem like something that a lot of teen boys do, in a sense of like, I am horny for this person, and thus I will make this personal sacrifice to impress them.
Sure.
Right. Put yourself in a potentially compromising situation, but that if it goes well, they'll be so enamored.
Yes.
With your coolness.
Exactly. But I don't know if I did that. I was a theater kid, so all the big like romantic acts I'm thinking of were pretty self-serving and theatrical.
I was gonna say, I feel like it lends itself to the grand gesture.
Yes, I've certainly made grand gestures in my time, but I wouldn't exactly call them self-sacrifice. I once wrote Kirby, my college girlfriend, now wife, mother of my child, an operetta and performed it for her in front of her friends.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Did
wrote
she
multiple
like it?
songs. As far as I know, she did like it. If she didn't, she's been keeping that secret for over 12 years now.
I'm sure she appreciated the gesture, even if like musically it wasn't like.
No, it was pretty good. Boy,
asking somebody their greatest personal sacrifice is the best way to make them brag constantly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's really what you set me up for. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think being a dad is a great one. It's nice to hear that it's also fun. That's kind of the best case scenario. It'd be terrible if you came on this podcast and said, just became a dad, and you know what? Fucking sucks.
Yeah, I've foregone a lot of sleep, and sometimes I will pick my daughter up over my head to make her fly through the air, and she'll throw up into my mouth. So,
no, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
sacrifices have been made.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect example.
Being a dad's a good one. Also, if you want to get weird, started out with horniness. So,
there you go.
Two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I get it now.
Through one theme and out the other. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta make the baby, Corey.
That's true.
Has anyone had this talk with you yet?
Corey's kind of young; he's not ready yet.
There's a lot of storks involved.
Yeah, you got to bang a stork, and then
is it different? Is it different in Canada than it is here?
We have a lot more geese than we have storks, but I don't know if that changes how the sort of.
Is that how like the stories go? Like maybe. The baby comes like
geese
a goose
are wildly aggressive though, so I would assume that it's more of like. It's a tale of triumph. Like you have to fight the goose to retrieve the baby.
Damn.
Have you been attacked by a goose before, Corey?
Not directly. I used to work a job cutting grass.
What does that mean?
Well, like it wasn't at me. I was on a big ride-on lawnmower cutting a big field of grass, and there was a gaggle of geese in the field, and they didn't really like that I was there, but they couldn't sort of get at me because I'm on a big car with blades essentially. So it was tense, but it wasn't like I wasn't getting like bit or anything. I was sort of getting like run at with like the wings out, and then they realized that whatever this big metal beast was probably was not worth attempting to fight. But a lot of the stories you hear about just geese being real fucking shit heels are absolutely true.
Wow, it's just like that one video game.
Oh yeah, yeah. Our official
Untitled
stance.
Goose.
Untitled Goose
Oh
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like Sneak King where you can steal 13 whoppers from a goose.
Ugh, classic Whopper game.
Classic bit.
We've talked about Sneak King definitely before on our show.
I'm pretty sure I still have my copy.
Pretty sure I do too.
They're not
Yeah.
bad. You know?
It was a good time.
Well,
Neil, what was the largest animal you've ever been attacked by?
oh boy, there is a real answer to this. Let me think what it is.
It couldn't have been that
jeez.
big if it's taking you more than a second.
Well, all right.
I feel like if the answer were equivalent to like lion, you would probably remember pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So it was not lion, honestly. So I live in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's what I've been fishing for.
we get a lot of. It's not a gator story. I'm sorry.
That's fine. We got plenty of other critters.
Unfortunately, sure, I could make up a gator story, but I'm not gonna. Actually, this is a story about a turtle, just the biggest, meanest fucking snapping turtle I've ever come across, stuck in the middle of the road, and I was the one who pulled over and blocked traffic to pick the guy up and get him out of the road, and he was just not having it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
In a way, you instigated this interaction, though.
Well,
it's not really
I
an
didn't want him.
attack. He was operating in self-defense.
I did not want him to get ran over. So what happens when you pick up a turtle is you got to get it from behind, and you got to like get your hands back far enough that it can't scratch you with its. Like, it's going to try to scratch you with its back legs. It's going to try to snap at you with its head, with its face. So, and this fucker, pardon my language, turtle was just
We've
so
been swearing a lot, Neil.
angry and aggressive that I could like barely hold on to him, and I was like about ready to just drop him and let him like land in the middle of the road. But I got him off to the side of the road, and as I'm getting him down to like this retention pond where he clearly came out of, I slipped, and
fuck.
he like I dropped him, and he like snipped at my pants and ran off into the water, and that counts as an attack by a vicious
Yeah.
vicious
I think
animal.
So. I think so.
Are snapping turtles like that like a rabies risk? Like had you been scratched or bit or something? Like what is the...
I came away with no marks on me, thankfully.
Just emotional scars.
Yeah, I still stop and save the turtles every single time. Definitely like sanitized the shit out of my hands at the truck because salmonella and all of that kind of stuff. But that's it. That's the biggest animal I think I've ever been attacked by, and I was doing it a favor. That's my moment of personal sacrifice.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Brought it back around.
Wow. Well, great. I feel amply prepared then to start talking about Mortal Kombat Conquest. Now that I have like emotional context.
Wherein I don't think we will encounter a single large animal.
Yeah,
That is not
That's disappointing.
That's not secretly a person.
unless you count the reptile.
Yeah,
man.
but like, is that? Yeah, we have a lot of time to get to that.
or the Scorpio.
That was a regular size scorpion, though.
It
All
seemed
right,
a
I
little
need to
big me.
know. I need to know more context for all of this stuff. We got to
Yeah.
get into
All right.
it. All right.
Let's do it.
So
So-
this will be a fun reversal in that usually I have someone completely on the hook and they don't know how much time they're going to be investing and they have to learn about something really fast. And I'm excited to be on the other end of it and get a little of my own medicine here. But you're going to fill me in. Are we doing this episode by episode?
It's we kind of got it laid out in just a narrative style, sort of like you do
Beautiful.
on your show.
Okay.
And the other
This
thing
show?
is that, yeah, on this show. Thank you, Corey. But the other thing is, we're only going to tell you the events of Mortal Kombat Conquest specifically from the perspective of the Great Kung Lao.
Oh, okay.
So just the events that he's present for and that he sees and those kinds of things. Of course, if you got other questions, we'll fill you in. But
Yeah, the short version
Well-
of this is you will often, at least initially, be missing at least some necessary context that he might get later.
Got
And
it.
as per, interruptions are welcome. So
Great.
yes, yeah. But I guess first we should give you a little bit of context. I don't know how much you know about Mortal Kombat Conquest. So
Very little.
at the beginning of time, there were a bunch of realms. And actually, Raiden reads them off in the show. He says, there's Earth Realm, there's Outworld, other realms.
and the Nether Realm. That's all we ever
Yeah.
hear about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And basically, the Dark Realm of Outworld, as they refer to it, was just like on a conquering spree, trying to conquer all the other realms, and was doing a pretty good job. One of the realms that they conquered was Edenia. They conquered it and destroyed it. they possibly conquered Zatera, but instead of destroying it or, merging with it, they sort of left it as an independent realm, kind of like a colony situation.
It's unclear if the Zaterans struck a deal or were conquered and then they figured something out. We still don't really know quite how that went down, but Zatera is separate from Outworld.
Yes.
Okay. Not canon, but sure.
And it's profoundly populated.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's populated by dinosaur people?
It is.
Literally hundreds of reptile men.
They all look identical.
That all look identical.
Are they in the show? Are they CG or is it makeup or what's the...
It's a combination.
They are CG in reptile form, and they are translucent green, like reptile gator looking kind of guys. And then they transform into humans in the green ninja outfit. All of them.
Yep.
Okay, I need to see that.
Yes.
Oh, lucky you. I believe we have some visual aids.
Great.
Sure.
Great.
It's going to take me a second. That's not in my folder for this episode.
Well, it should have been, but that's okay.
Well, while he's figuring that out, I will also mention that there's also the Nether Realm and some other unknown realms. That is actually how it's described.
Oh.
They kind of leave it up for interpretation.
Yes.
And so the Elder Gods see Outworld going on this tear through the realms, and they are like, okay, something has to be done. We simply can't allow this to continue, and they institute something called the Mortal Kombat tournament, where every generation chosen fighters are transported to Shang Tsung's island, which looks more like a cave on the show, and they defend themselves against Outworld's conquering desires. However, do you have any input on the look of Reptile?
Yeah, I'm looking at these reptiles right now, and I do have some thoughts. One is, why does the actual reptile look like Reboot? And I guess the answer is the era.
Yeah.
The other thought that I have is, I've never liked a picture more than a dinner table of guys in reptile.
The bureaucratic council of reptiles. They are actually arguing with a different guy in a reptile costume on the other side of the room.
No, they look like they're about to start stamping their hands on the table and yelling, one of us, gooble gobble, gooble gobble.
Yeah, so that's Zatera for you.
Okay.
You can tell it's tastefully lit green.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so we have set up that we have a Mortal Kombat tournament that is effectively being used mostly as a mechanism for other realms to defend themselves against Outworld. Yeah. We don't really hear anything about some other, like, we don't hear about Turnus going against Cop Realm or whatever. Right. We are hearing about people trying to defend themselves from Shao Kahn.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's all, everything's presented just specifically, I guess much like in the games, but in the games it's got a more universal, if any realm wants to do this, these are the rules. This show is like, oh, Outworld was doing this, these rules are for them specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. And that changes, this show's not particularly consistent, but this is the setup. So our hero of the show is the Great Kung Lao. And he's been training with at the Shaolin Temple, the Temple of the Order of Light. Mm-hmm. And that temple is somewhere near a city called Zhu Zin. And
that's where the whole show takes place, in and around Zhu Zin.
Pretty much,
okay.
Yeah.
So in like China, in Earthrealm.
Yeah, I mean, they don't say China, and the Shaolin Temple is definitely a temple from Thailand. So it's just vaguely Asian, I suppose.
An ambiguous Asian geography.
Yes,
and
fantasy Asia. I'm very familiar with it. I've seen it before.
Yeah. So Kung Lao's been studying with the monks, men like a guy named Master Huang, another guy named Daran, Dahraan. We called him Darren for short. It's just easier.
Darren.
Yeah. And he's being guided by Lord Raiden to represent Earthrealm in Mortal Kombat, to be Earthrealm's champion. And we pick up in the show right as he's like at his first. This is his first at bat, right? Mm-hmm. Outworld's won 9 tournaments. Their champion is Shang Tsung. This is tournament number 10, and it's Kung Lao's kind of first shot. No pressure or
That's a
anything,
pretty
right?
good adaptation
it's-
of canon. That's pretty close.
It's worth
Yeah.
setting up too that this is maybe Raiden, which is Rayden, worth
Mhm.
noting.
Yes.
That
As
at
he
maybe
is.
his most gym coach with a lot of this.
Yeah.
His whole vibe is very much like this smarmy kind of devil may care authority figure for keeping Kung Lao on the rails of training for the Mortal Kombat tournament and filling his responsibilities. There he is. And he is like weirdly laid back, does not take a lot of things especially seriously, and sort of cracks jokes at the expense of basically everybody, despite the stakes literally being life or death. So we will have a complicated relationship with Raiden from here. But so they get to the fight. It's the big fight. Kung Lao is showing up in his classic Mortal Kombat 3 outfit. Hat included, though the hat is not used. It is purely for fashion. Shang Tsung kicks
This is
his
also
ass.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He gets just fucking wrecked.
Oh, Neil, I think I know what you're gonna say. This is also the only time we ever see this outfit.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
He spends most of the rest of the show wearing like a regular white shirt and brown pants with brown boots.
So is this like we're still in the pilot here, right?
Yes.
Yes.
This is like the opening couple.
So much happens at the beginning of this. Yeah. So anyway. So Kung Lao is fighting Shang Tsung for the title, and Shang Tsung just is destroying him to the point where he's actually got Kung Lao on the ground, and he's starting to pull his soul out, like in classic Shang Tsung style.
Your
right?
soul is mine, etc.,
Yes.
etc.
Yep. But as this is happening, Kung Lao, in his mind, remembers that he has a girlfriend, and he very much wants to see his girlfriend again. And his horniness for his girlfriend gives him a second wind, and he rallies, and he's able to end up defeating Shang Tsung and saving Earthrealm.
We see this in his like mind palace. Like we witness a vision of his girlfriend Genevieve, who who is sort of in this vague black space, like whisper talking to cheer him on. And he really, he gets real randy about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, let's go."
She's wearing scraps of fabric.
She's wearing the
not really
suggestion
wearing an
of
outfit.
clothes.
Okay.
And he rallies, he gets up, and he just beats Shang to hell. However, Shao Kahn, seeing this happen before him, gets down to it, and then it's like, okay, kill him. Fucking kill him, do it.
Not just him. All the Mad Max extras watching the fight are also chanting for him to kill Shang Tsung.
And Kung Lao makes maybe his greatest mistake given the events of the rest of the show, and does not kill Shang Tsung, saying that it is not the way of a true noble warrior. It's worth noting that Shang Tsung has not presented himself, and will continue to not present himself, as somebody worthy of someone else's mercy. He's really full of himself and conceited. He is dressed sort of like in like bikery leather, which we'll see more of later. And he spends a lot of his time forcing people to run errands for him, gaslighting people, fighting people, stealing souls, doing kind of a bunch of Shang Tsung stuff. But they really kind of ramp up the like pervy grossness, which is kind of a running theme. Yeah, he's very touchy and demanding. There's a character that we'll get introduced in a little bit that he sort of has on as like a second in command, but it's a very bad relationship, and he's not a good dude. There's really no legitimate reason why Kung Lao, even at his most noble and true, would have had any meaningful justification to not kill Shang Tsung. There's really no reason for it.
And like this iteration of Shang Tsung is not an old man, right? Like he's like a younger or middle-aged sorcerer from Earthrealm who defected to Outworld. Is that still part of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It is. That did happen centuries before this, at least 900 years, I suppose, before this.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
the timeline gets weirdly stretched and compressed.
Right. If you consider the fact that he's represented Outworld and won 9 tournaments up to this point, it's got to be like 450 something years. I don't really know the math.
You'd think
It's
that,
been
but
a
then
long
later
time.
we get some Shang Tsung backstory that kind of confuses that even further.
Yeah.
in terms of when things were happening. So that's not in the opening episodes, but what happens in the meantime is Kung Lao and Raiden head back to Earthrealm, and they're like,
Yep.
party time.
Yeah.
We saved the realms, we did our job, and they want to go have a good time at the temple. And
Yeah,
there's
all
this
the-
big celebratory parade.
All the monks are cheering for him, lining the path, all right, Earthrealm saved.
Yeah, and they're
And
doing
then,
that classic TV show thing where this is just a dirt road somewhere near some trees, and there's just like a couple people holding some props.
Yeah. Real, yeah. You'll understand what they saved the money for later. But as Kung Lao's doing his victory parade here, he gets a vision, right? And suddenly he's looking around, and the sky has turned like deep purple, like purplish blue, and all the monks that were standing around and cheering for him are all just laying on the ground, dead, right? So he's having like these. He starts having these visions, these premonitions of doom, and he's kind of freaked out about that. So when he gets to the temple, he's trying to meditate and connect with the elder gods, and like get recentered. And he has another one. He's just this vision of like this almost demon-like thing tormenting him. And he starts talking to Raiden about this. And Raiden basically breaks it down as like, I think what you're really doing here is you don't want to be Mortal Kombat champion anymore, right? You have a responsibility, but now you're thinking maybe you don't want this. And Kung Lao's like, yeah, totally. Don't I deserve to be happy now? I did the thing.
Can't I just like? All right.
Can't I just like go?
Raiden
bang around.
fucking sucks.
Yeah.
There are moments where he's funny, but yeah, Raiden's whole angle here, like Neil is saying, is, you may have trained your whole life to do one specific task and succeeded, but the winner of the tournament also doesn't age, and Raiden is tasking him with the responsibility to train new fighters for the next tournament, which previous canon would tell you is Raiden's job, but Raiden is more here as like occasional exposition, often punchline, and so he is here negging Kung Lao into saying that his feelings don't matter, do your job.
Yes. Yeah. All Kung Lao really wants to do is just go bang around with his girlfriend.
Sure.
Yeah. So he really is conflicted. Like, do I want to continue on this path and be Earth's champion? Do I just want to run away and get married? I don't really know. Yeah, he's having some struggles, right? Raiden tells him like, the winning Mortal Kombat isn't the end, it's just the beginning, right? So, but he's hanging out at the temple.
He's reacting in a way like someone who was not fully briefed on the situation, like as if he thought like, okay, one Mortal Kombat, cool, and is only now really learning the fact that this is the rest of his potentially infinite life.
Yeah, it's like when your little league team like just keeps winning games, and then you got to go on to like playoffs and state championships and all that shit, which is never something that happened to me, but I've heard it happens to other people.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, I just want to stop playing soccer already.
Yeah, I actually had that happen.
Very specific, makes
in
sense,
a way.
Yes.
With indoor soccer, which is like an even more downgraded version of the regular sport.
Yeah, what?
It was played
what
on
the fuck is indoor soccer?
You put hockey-sized nets on either ends of a basketball court, basically.
No.
And
sounds wildly dangerous.
Well, I mean, it's no more dangerous than regular soccer, I guess.
To me, it doesn't sound dangerous so much as it does sound stupid.
It was definitely kind of stupid. If memory serves, my dad had to step in as coach because the person who was coaching the team, their son quit, so they stopped coaching the team.
Oh, that's really funny.
Wow.
He was
So
like,
my
well,
dad
I'm no longer invested.
Yeah, they were like, okay, I'm not going to help like these kids grow and develop a new talent or like camaraderie with a team. They were just like, okay, fuck it, I don't know. Gonna go get Graydon into lacrosse or something.
Graydon.
So that's what they're doing, and Kung Lao is moping and frustrated because he doesn't understand why he's sort of being tasked with this responsibility, and so he is at the temple just sort of like thinking on it more or less. And there's a ruckus afoot outside, and he runs out there. we often see Kung Lao running to a sudden ruckus. That's kind of his whole deal. He'll just be
Yes.
walking along in the woods or walking through the city, and someone will be like, "Oh no, I'm being murdered," and he'll be like, "Oh fuck," and he'll run there. And 9 times out of 10, he's being tricked into some sort of horrible predicament. And in this case, not being tricked. Jen, we're not going to say Genevieve, by the way. We simply can't. Genevieve,
She's known by Jen mostly.
Jen is out there, and she is being assailed by bandits, being protected by her bodyguard Ciro, who we haven't mentioned any of these actors yet, who was played by Daniel Bernhardt. And they are fighting the bandits, and Ciro is whooping, and he is about to kill one of the bandits, a younger woman, when Kung Lao is like, "You absolutely cannot kill on the grounds of a Shaolin temple."
Yeah, dude, that's not cool.
It's not allowed. I will absolutely stop you if you try to do that. Ciro,
we have literally one rule here, and it's don't murder people.
Ciro and Kung Lao do know each other in a way because, like we mentioned, it's his girlfriend and Ciro is Jen's bodyguard, so they're familiar with each other. And Ciro says, "Okay, fine, I will take this other bandit prisoner. It is a thief named Taja, who is then taken back to town with them, but not before Jen says, 'Oh, we should go make an offering in the temple.' Right, Kung Lao? Wink, wink, wink."
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Definitely code for.
I see. They're gonna go
Right,
for
right,
this.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, they're gonna go. They're gonna go smooch. Smooching's allowed in the temple.
Of course.
Murdering is not.
Of course.
They're really opposite ends of the spectrum if you think about it.
Right.
One's taking life, one, maybe a stork gets involved.
So they're gonna go bang it out in the temple, and then
Yes.
Ciro is going to take
Taja.
To
Taja the bandit.
You will
to
remember that
jail.
name because she becomes a protagonist, so you will
Got it.
remember
I
it
figured.
eventually.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So spending this time with Jen kind of cements Kung Lao, his decision. He's done with Mortal Kombat. He just wants to go and marry Jen and live like a nice, peaceful life and not have to worry about fighting to the death all the time. So later on,
he's peaked and he's over it. He's like, "This is.
Yes.
I don't want to be
Yeah.
in charge of the fate of everybody
Yeah. I just
all
want
the
to smooch.
time."
Smooching is nice, and I don't get
Yeah.
to do enough of it.
Sure.
He's
Yeah.
been too busy.
I
training,
like that. Like in Mortal Kombat canon, generally, Liu Kang is like a pretty sexless monk type who's always like so chaste, and then in this one, it's like the Great Kung Lao was a fuck machine. Dude is unstoppable.
Yeah. You will notice that in a way, everybody is kind of a fuck machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like 100%, I think, because they couldn't show hardcore violence
Mhm.
on this basic cable television show. They just swapped in sex instead.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
the show has commercial bumpers that like play before you get out to a commercial break, and they feature one of two things typically. You will see a clip of a cool fight, or it will be objectifying a woman in very little clothing.
Yeah.
Of course.
Those are your options.
Yes, they occasionally objectify men too. It's not enough of a balance, I don't think.
Not even a little bit. No.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But there is, there's a little bit of something for everybody here,
We famously have a ship where we just want Ciro and Kung Lao to just hook up already.
I mean, it's guaranteed that that's the subtext of the show, but okay. So
That's what I'm saying. That's how we interpret it.
Right. So, but for now, Kung Lao's just like hooked on this idea of marrying Jen. So he goes into town. He goes into Zhu, which, by the way, is the fucking coolest city in the world.
Mhm.
It's a city populated by Mad Max extras.
As many fantasy shows
yeah.
are.
You got like Shaolin monks in robes walking by, like women in crazy fishnets and dudes on like collars and leashes. It's
Mhm.
rad. The
And
city
like people
rules.
with like spiked shoulder pads and a
Ben,
dude
you're-
with like a sword on a spear.
You're from Florida. You ever been to
Yeah.
Ybor City?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like Ybor City circa 2002.
So it's the coolest place in the world. Is Ybor City.
That's just the general vibe. You know what I mean?
It's got
Like,
an Ybor vibe. Yeah. No, I totally get it.
As somebody who doesn't
everyone's
know
partying,
Florida,
having a good time.
give me like a one-line description of Ybor City. What's their
Water
whole
world.
deal? Really? What?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it's just lined with clubs. There's like goth clubs and regular clubs.
I don't
and
know.
just
Sounds pretty cool
everyone's-
to me if there's just goth clubs everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
everyone's
pretty
just on
cool.
the street.
yeah.
You're outside and you can't escape the cigarette smell outside. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
there's
It's,
just like
it's like a beachy New Orleans kind of thing.
Okay.
It's more of a Spanish culturally like vibe because Florida than
Yeah.
New Orleans has, I'd say, a more diverse mix. This is more like half like classical Florida tourist vibe, half like trying to reach back to like Spanish
Mhm.
colonialism.
Some
vibes.
sort of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's fun.
yeah, and there's an IKEA like right next to it now.
hmm They still have a
So-
movie co over there. Do they still have that? Does movie co still exist?
I don't think so. I don't think
Bummer.
I think the movie theater at Ybor shut down a while ago.
Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah, I'm a little old. to
The
be hanging
one
out
movie
there.
theater?
Well, it's like a downtown area.
I
Oh, this
mostly
is not a
just
Central.
city called
want-
Ybor City. This is part of a town. Okay.
No, it is a city, but
Yeah.
like the downtown area, Centro Ybor is more what I was referring to.
Yeah, I
in terms
understand.
of-
It's not
party
like
vibes.
Wanadu City where it's a city within a mall. It's a city.
Or it's not
Yeah.
like the city hall in a mall.
Right. It's
That's
not
a
like the
separate
Coral
thing.
Springs City Hall in a mall. Right.
All right, so Kung Lao's marching into Zhu Zin. He goes up to this place called Rayland Imports. This is the trading post
Mhm.
owned by a guy named Baron Rayland, who is Genevieve's dad. And
Mhm.
he's like King Dick in the town, big shot, big business, private security, private jail, all of that kind of shit, right? So he knocks on the door, and this guy named
He runs the
Takeda-
Tekken of the town.
Yes,
Got
yeah,
it.
it's the Wayland, the Rayland Zaibatsu is yeah. So he knocks on the door, and this guy named Takeda opens the door, and he's pretty tight with Kung Lao. So
Oh.
Takeda's like, "Oh, I get it. You're here to ask the Baron for Jen's hand in marriage." And Kung Lao's like, "Yeah, totes, dude. I gotta go talk to him, right?"
So before they go talk, it is very important, Ben, to set this up visually for you. Takeda is the first evidence we see of the traditional Mortal Kombat ninja outfit. He is
Mm.
wearing it when he opens the door as a guard.
What
It is
color?
All
gray
black.
and black.
Okay.
Yep.
Tight.
Yep. Yes, actually, all the guards at Rayland Imports are wearing this.
The
and,
rest of them are just black, I believe. And the
Okay.
Takeda's got like a funny one because he's
Sure.
So
special,
they
I
have
guess.
classical ninjas as the guards at this corporation.
Yes.
Yes.
We figured out that there's just a store in Zhujian somewhere that sells this look.
Got it.
So all the ninjas shop there.
And to be
And I
clear,
know what
we're
you're
still
thinking. How
like
does-
in the first act of the pilot, right?
Yeah, don't worry.
Yes.
It will
It will speed up. It will speed up. We
once we get
promise.
through this.
And but
Right.
also
I'm more
we
just
are going
impressed with how much backstory
Shit
they have
is
to
here.
give you to get into the series.
and then
Yeah.
from here the catch is the show will speed up, but we will slow down because they keep introducing characters.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right. So Kung Lao goes upstairs to talk to the Baron, and he's like, "Hey, Baron, me and Jen have been seeing each other for a while. I really want to,
Just when Mortal Kombat, pretty cool anyway.
yeah, I want to marry her. Can I marry her?" And Zero is there too, and Zero sort of like stands up for Kung Lao's character, and he's a good guy, And Jen is like, "Yeah, I love him so much, I really want to marry him." But the Baron is like, "Fuck no, hippie. What kind of life can you give my daughter? She's my property." And he calls the guards, and Takeda comes up and just sort of like, "Hey, sorry, bro," and hauls him out. Right?
Damn.
And
Kung Lao
so
gets thrown out on his ass.
Kung Lao, it's important to note that there, as in much of Mortal Kombat, there is not apparently a widespread understanding that multiple realms exist or that Mortal Kombat exists or the Elder
Right.
Gods exist. So
Yes.
Zero, Taja, Baron Rayland, a bunch of people, they hear Kung Lao talk about Mortal Kombat or the Elder Gods or Raiden,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, it's some weird mysticism bullshit that is
Yes.
just because he is in that temple all the time," and they're brushing it off as just a weird sort of like religious fanaticism, which is why somebody like Baron Rayland, who is basically just like a fucking frat bro running a business,
He's a real one
he's
percenter.
sort of getting ostracized because of that. And as far as I can tell, random magical encounters will take place in Zhu Zin throughout this series, and very few people are ultimately convinced that Mortal Kombat is a thing.
Yeah, Zero remains a Mortal
Oh.
Kombat denier for a long time, like several episodes
He
into this
goes
series.
to another realm eventually and is still like not 100% sure.
Now, in terms of what they're denying exactly, like, is it that nobody believes there are other dimensions, or is it that nobody believes there are elder gods, or is it that nobody believes there is just specifically a tournament that decides whether or not realms can merge?
All three, actually.
Any of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's
all
like
of it.
the full lore is being rejected.
Yes.
And
it.
even be like, so Zero and Taja will meet Raiden and they will still not believe in Mortal Kombat
They will see him shoot lightning
and still be like,
I
oh,
don't
that's
know.
weird.
Yeah.
Could have been anything. Trick of the
Could've
light.
just- Yep.
Raiden just
Yep.
joined the Magicians Union.
So
I just got my
Kung Lao-
mind freaked by Lord Raiden, and all I got was this stupid T-shirt.
Damn.
Right. But Kung Lao's determined. He's not going to take just getting thrown out on his ass. You know, he's going to go back in there.
He's
So
the
he
champion of
marches,
Mortal
like,
Kombat.
right. He marches like right back up to the trading post. I think he maybe waits a day, but he knocks on the door again, and Takeda's like, "Come on, man, you know I can't let you in." And
Mhm.
Kung Lao just knocks Takeda right the fuck out and goes on it.
Punches his good
Right.
friend right in the face.
Yes. His goal, he's going to go in there, he's going to grab Jen, and they're going to run away together and be happy, right?
Damn.
A real Romeo and Juliet goal here, and we
Yeah.
will also continue to see more moments throughout the series of Kung Lao sort of having this very austere, like noble warrior vibe that I almost said Kenshi, that occasionally gets overwhelmed by emotion, and like Anakin Skywalker style, he just kind of freaks out.
Wow. It sounds like a
This is sort of
specific
one of those.
emotion, which is horniness in this instance.
Yes.
Yes, in
No,
this case, it's definitively that.
Yeah, absolutely. So so he's up in Jen's room. He's got her by the hand. She's a willing participant in this. That is important to point out. One of the few times that the female characters in this show are willing participants in what a man wants to do. That's kind of a weird thing to like really come to terms with in the middle of a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
It's true though.
but
Unfortunately, there's a lot of deeply
very-
questionable shit.
Yeah. And Ciro comes in, and Ciro's like, "Whoa, hold on, what's going on?" And they're like, "Come on, Ciro,
Be
like,
cool.
be cool." And Ciro's like, "Okay, sure, yeah, I'll be cool. Go ahead. I'll let you guys escape."
But you have to
But-
protect her, Kung Lao,
Yeah. Right.
because I am her bodyguard.
Sure, of course.
So he thinks he's given him enough of a window to escape, where he then just goes to the Baron and tells the Baron, "Hey, just so you know, Kung Lao and Jen have run away, and I let them do it." And
This was about 10 minutes ago.
yeah, right. But before Kung Lao and Jen could actually make their escape, Takeda showed up.
Uh-oh.
And something's different about Takeda now. Suddenly, Takeda's eyes are like white.
Good lord.
white.
This is really all over the place. Okay.
He's
We're
got
still
a little,
in the pilot.
He's got a little bit of yellow starting to show up on his ninja outfit. These two little like yellow serpents show up on his apron, I'll call it.
Uh-huh.
And he's like just not having it. So he and Kung Lao start rumbling right there in Jen's bedroom, and the commotion attracts the attention of everybody else.
And he can take it too. Like Takeda is not a pushover at this point. We know mere moments ago in the grand scheme of things, he got one punched, just
Oh, yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
This is a
Floored.
different Takeda.
This is a different Takeda. It's
He's
been
ready to
10 minutes,
rumble.
but he's a new man.
It's almost as if he's
And-
possessed by some kind of demon.
Almost. Yeah.
It could be
And,
argued.
Yeah. And everyone else comes in, and it sort of breaks up the fight, and Ciro's there, and the Baron is there, and some other guards are there, and they see Takeda or they see Kung Lao standing over Takeda like ready to just like bash his face in. And they pull him off, and they're like, "All right, that's it. You're going to jail. Kung Lao, we're going to cut your head off tomorrow in a public execution.
Mhm.
Ciro, you're fired.
Mhm.
And Takeda, you get Ciro's job." Right? So
Uh-oh.
Kung Lao just gets let off in chains, right? Locked up in the basement.
Again, private prison. This is just
Right.
the Baron is like, we're killing you now.
Of course.
It's like extrajudicial. It's fucked up. So you get to the day of the planned execution, and
Yes.
Our heroes are not going to take this lying down.
No.
Kung Lao was apparently prepared to, as he is just sort of locked up at the moment. he's like,
Yeah,
well,
he is-
guess I can't do anything about this, and Raiden will not help me. So
Right.
here we are.
Yes,
And,
he is dragged out onto the stage. He's like put in the gallows. Is that what you call it? Like they're gonna like chop his head off. You know,
No, like the stocks, like
the
medieval stocks.
There it is.
Yeah, and Raiden just doesn't give a shit. Yeah.
No, Raiden does not appear during this entire sequence.
No.
Okay.
But two people do come to his aid. Genevieve and the bandit Taja that had also been arrested by the Baron in the trading post. She got free. Taja used a guard's horniness to get herself free
Sure.
by claiming she needed help.
Every single time I've
taking a-
ever gotten out
taking
of
a
jail,
bath?
that's what I had to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking a bath.
Yeah, she couldn't get her clothes off and she wanted to take a bath. So the guard comes over and she knocks the guard out
Mhm.
And
gets
so
the keys and gets
Taja
free.
and Jen have like teamed up at this point.
Yes.
We've seen like bits and pieces of Taja up to this point, but not a ton. So it's kind of not sudden, but it's like, oh, okay, this character's important.
Right.
We're doing this. Let's go.
Yeah.
And they go and they crash the execution, and they manage to get Kung Lao free.
Yeah.
And they fight off all the guards and they get away.
Kung Lao and Taja get away. Jen stays behind.
Mhm.
And
She doesn't get it out of there.
Then they do the stupidest possible thing.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Which is, so Kung Lao is like, oh man, it's really good, lucky that I got free. I didn't want to get murdered. Thanks, Taja. That was pretty cool of you. Do you want to help me go get Genevieve
Yeah.
again?
We're going back.
What if we went
We're
back to the trading post right away,
Immediately.
basically,
We just
and tried
escaped.
to break Jen out so we could get out?
Yeah.
And on their way there, this is Taja and Kung Lao. They run into Zero, and Zero had also had the exact same thought. Hey, pretty lucky that Kung Lao didn't get executed. We should probably go try to break Jen out again.
Yes.
So they sneak into the trading post, and they're doing like a funny tiptoe up the stairs. It's real dark. You got these like two huge dudes, and then they're just like doing this quiet little tiptoe, and then Taja's like, keeping an eye out for everybody. And they're like, okay, here's Genevieve's door. Let's get in. They open the door, Ben. Every single person that could be in Jen's room already, waiting for them to arrive, is
Everyone.
all of the guards.
Everyone.
Takeda, the Baron, Jen is tied up on the bed, and
They're all there.
everybody was just looking at the door, waiting for Kung Lao to enter.
Like a
Yes.
clown car situation? Are they just packed in there like sardines? Is there room
They're-
for everyone in there?
Yeah. They're very much packed like sardines in there. I mean, yeah.
Perfect.
Like I don't know
It's
how.
hilarious. It's
Yeah.
And this is the first of many times you will hear Kung Lao get baited or punked or tricked or bamboozled by something, seemingly pretty normal. And then instantly it's like, oh shit, we all have to fight.
Yep.
So a fight breaks out, and Takeda gets in on it right away, and then some fucked up shit starts to happen. So Takeda's
Yes.
giving it to Kung Lao, giving it to him, just like giving him the business. And Takeda,
Like his dick? Or are you talking about like the fighting?
Yes.
that's the thing, interchangeable, really.
He's
Oh,
gonna
okay.
actually. He's gonna give him that business later, but for now,
I
Takeda starts using green magic to suck out
Mm.
Kung Lao's soul, screaming, "Your soul belongs to Shang Tsung."
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
yes.
there,
This of all things freaks the Baron out.
the
he had
Baron is
one
like, "Now
rule.
this is bad."
He had one rule in the trading post, and that was no green magic. Right? Murder's fine, but green magic not allowed.
He taps the
So-
sign on the door that says "No green magic."
Yeah, so he tries to get his guards to disrupt the fight. And what happens is Takeda then ends up knocking that guard into the Baron, who then hits a spiked shield of the guard standing behind him because, again, too many people in this room. And now the Baron is dying.
The Baron gets stabbed by Takeda kicking a guard into him, who hits him into a different guard holding a shield with a spike on it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I hate when that happens.
A real clown car situation.
Yeah.
Takeda in all of this grabs Jen, who's already been nicely tied up, and just runs out of there.
Like a silly like cartoon thief.
Yes, like a vaudeville, he's gonna go tired of some train tracks or something.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So now Kung Lao's like, oh shit, we got to go get Jen. So he, Zero, and Taja go out of the trading post after like the weepy Baron death. Oh, Kung Lao, I'm sorry. Please save my daughter. Like,
I know I said
I
she
made
was
a-
my
I made a
property
mistake.
earlier, and I made fun of everything you believe in, and I'm a real
Yeah.
piece of shit. But how about
Right.
you do me this solid and save my
Yes.
daughter?
Right.
Yeah, pretty please.
So they go outside and they're trying to like figure out where's Takeda going to go? Where's he going to take him? And then like Raiden pops in and Raiden's like helps them figure out.
Raiden's whole vibe is popping in. He will just
Yes.
teleport into a scene and he'll have exposition or some smarmy joke to make. And that is his entire sort of MO. Is he
I guess
will
that's
help.
always kind of been Raiden's thing, right?
It kind of is.
Sure.
Now, Neil, I have a question for you. I feel like we're at a fork in the road. Because we can explain this before or after it happens. Do we want to take a quick tangent to Outworld, or do we want to wait?
No, we're not explaining it until after it happens.
Okay, fair enough.
Right.
Yeah, I want to experience it the way Kung Lao experienced it.
Yeah. Or does he find out in this moment? I guess
He wouldn't know the specifics.
No, he
but
wouldn't
we
know
have
the
to give-
specifics.
Would he?
Let's give the context.
Okay, Mortal
Let's just
Kombat
do it.
context. Let's do it.
Right. So what has happened is that Shang Tsung has been imprisoned in the cobalt mines of Shokan, right?
By Shao Kahn for fucking up Mortal Kombat so bad. In the
Right.
classical, we spent 500 years
Mhm,
doing this. How could you
Yes.
fuck this up for me?
Do we
so he's-
see Shokan in the show?
We actually
Yes.
do see a CGI Shokan guard on
No.
Oh, and
certain
you know
establishing
we have
shots.
that screenshot, Ben.
Yeah,
You know we do.
Let me find it.
No.
So while Neil's grabbing that, I'll just give a little bit more here. So Shang Tsung is sent to the cobalt mines as punishment by Shao Kahn, and the cobalt in the mines limits his sorcery abilities.
Well, yeah, I could have told you that.
So he's down there. Of course, everybody knows that. This is for the layman. But so he's down there and he's like, oh, fuck. Fucking stuck in the cobalt mines. This sucks. And down there, he meets someone else who was imprisoned in the cobalt mines who we thought was Jade at first. It is not. It is a woman in a green outfit, though. And you just assume everybody is a Mortal Kombat character at this point. Her name is Vorpax.
Oh,
Um,
Warpax.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now the Vorpax Defender has logged on because I'm a big fan. But
Everybody's favorite Mortal Kombat.
everybody's favorite
character,
Mortal Kombat
Vorpax.
character.
Yeah.
Full stop. So
Vorp.
they are down there. Sorry?
Vorp.
Vorp,
Vorp.
as
Yeah,
the
Vorp
fans
for
call
sure.
her. Yeah. So they are in the cobalt mines, and Shang Tsung is like, fucking hate Kung Lao. This sucks. Ugh, I gotta do something to go get that Kung Lao guy. Damn. And they sort of discuss it a little bit more. And it is recommended to him, like, hey, there's something we can go check out. And they go to this other part of the mines, and there is like a bird cage with a scorpion in it.
Mm.
And he does some kind of, there we go. And
Oh,
there's a yellow stripe on the scorpion to indicate this is the titular scorpion of
Sure.
Scorpion the Ninja.
Yes.
And so
It's called
they
the Scorpio.
it is called the Scorpio. I don't know why. They
and
don't
it
really
houses
what?
it houses the soul of an ancient warrior.
So there's an ancient warrior in this scorpion,
Yes.
actual
Which is it?
scorpion,
Yes,
Yes.
in a
That's in a
physical scorpion.
bird
in a
cage
mine
that
in a
it could
world.
clearly easily crawl out of.
Yep.
Yes,
Because
but it
there's
does
more
not.
than enough room between the bars for the scorpion to just kind of scorp on out of there.
Hmm.
And okay,
It's being held back
Got
by
it.
by the suggestion of imprisonment.
understood.
Like if
Right,
it looks
right,
around, it sees bars, and it's like, well, I guess I'm stuck in here.
Yeah,
It
they've
never
broken
really
the scorpion's
commits.
will. I get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they do some magic stuff,
Hmm.
and they're like, oh, okay, there's somebody who's near Kung Lao. Let's give this a try. Rubs his hands together, green magic, and the soul of the great warrior that is hidden inside the Scorpio is transferred into Takeda.
Mm.
When he was laid out on the ground.
So he gets knocked the fuck out, and then Shang Tsung is like, what great happenstance. Now is our chance. I am going to possess Takeda with the great warrior hidden inside of the Scorpio. And that is why you start seeing like changes to his outfit. He physically becomes increasingly more yellow on his outfit, which is very funny. And his voice gets kind of deeper. He starts changing how he talks and behaves. So, there's the Shokan for you. And so,
Oh boy,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot. So
good
I'll give you
looking
a second,
Shokan.
just sort of, take that in. And so that is the setup for why Takeda has suddenly become this, powerhouse, and why he would be attempting to harvest Kung Lao's soul for Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung
Yes.
wants Kung Lao's soul so fucking bad. It's all he wants. He wants revenge, and he wants to kill Kung Lao and steal his soul.
So is it okay? So this is this show's version of Scorpion.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
the soul of an ancient warrior from a literal scorpion implanted into a guy named Takeda, who
Mhm.
happens to wear the ninja suit as a guard,
Yep.
and then that ninja suit transforms into Scorpion from the game's costume because of the spiritual possession.
Yes.
Do we
That is all
think-
correct.
Do we
There he
think
is.
that Takeda in MKX is like named as like a reference to this Scorpion?
I 100% think so. I've searched, I dug into this like a crazy person. Apparently there's some piece of like ancient Mortal Kombat lore that referenced the leader of the Shirai Ryu in the first place being somebody named Takeda. But I can't find it anywhere. I
Wow.
just like it was on like a wiki article somewhere that mentioned it with no footnote or anything like that. My theory is that people are probably conflating that with Conquest.
Do we
Which
see
happens a
him
lot.
form the Shirai Ryu in Conquest? Is it a spoiler
We-
to answer that?
Honestly, we do see him get a gang. He never calls them the Shirai
Yeah,
Ryu.
we see him form some kind of army, of which we see 3 members total.
Yeah.
Got it. Big
Um,
army.
Yeah, so that is why Takeda is getting this sudden power up and has become like a weirdly, his vibe is all wrong. And so Raiden
And
comes down.
I do think Raiden fills him in on all of this stuff.
Yeah,
too,
that
so he
they get
knows.
caught up. It's like, yeah, there's
Yeah.
the Scorpio, and then everybody nods and goes, yes, the Scorpio, and then they just sort of move on. And so they track Takeda and Jen to the Shaolin Temple. Presumably, the thought being, okay, I'll be able to kill Kung Lao if I go where he likes to be, the Shaolin Temple. Otherwise, that would be too difficult to find, and I need to get his soul. So they are posted up, and Zero and Taja are helping Kung Lao at this point. The combat crew is beginning to form, and they give chase to the Shaolin Temple. And when they get there, Takeda is no longer Takeda. He is fully Scorpion. He
Yes.
is like announcing himself as such. Like,
Yep. He's got the snake spear and everything, you know?
Great.
It's
And,
real, it's girthy. It's girthier than in the movie, you know? But it's there.
Yeah, it looks thick.
Yeah.
And so they fight in this empty Shaolin Temple with a bunch of candles everywhere, and it's real moody.
Yeah.
And
Jen's there.
Jen is there as the prize. Women are often posed as prizes in this show.
Yeah.
And
Happens a
so
lot.
they have a pretty kick-ass fight, which is pretty cool.
They
and,
do.
Kung Lao ultimately bests Scorpion.
Yes.
And when that happens, a big rift opens up in the floor, revealing a lava pit, and Scorpion falls into presumably the Nether Realm. And he screams, he's like, "Ah!" And he falls into the Nether
and that's
Realm.
because he was defeated in battle.
It's never explained. We have no idea. He wasn't even like dead yet.
No.
This crack just opens up in the floor.
Potentially, Scorpion had become into a weakened state enough that the demon possessing Takeda, who is now Scorpion, was like, oh, we got to get out of here and heal up. Let's go to the Nether Realm, that place demons love. Because we do not see Scorpion go to like Outworld. He is not like devout to Shang Tsung or anything, and this is where a bit of a divergent point occurs, where Scorpion is now just an out in the world antagonist that the newly forming team of Zero, Taja, and Kung Lao need to be aware of.
Right.
However,
one bad thing happens in this fight, though. At one point, Scorpion is trying to shoot some hellfire at Kung Lao,
Mm-hmm.
and Jen tackles him out of the way, and she takes the hit.
Oh no!
So, fight's over, and Jen is just kind of laying there dying on the ground. Kung Lao lost his love.
and
you
it's
know?
so
He lost his
important
girlfriend.
that you know this. So we get a flashback at one point to their relationship. This is part 2 of the pilot, and we are getting a flashback to stuff from part 1 of the pilot to establish that they were in a loving relationship.
Good
Yes.
Uwe Boll move. Yeah, to flash back to like a few minutes ago.
Yeah. So we get the full rundown on their sort of lost love, and
Yes.
Kung Lao is there, and she dies in his arms.
But the last thing she does is
Goddamn.
she gives him the key to the trading post.
Because her dad is now dead, nobody's
Yeah.
using it, and they sort of
Right.
co-opted into the combat crew hangout.
Wait,
Right.
wasn't her dad like, please protect my daughter?
Yeah,
Or
he said that
something?
about 15 minutes ago.
So
Yeah.
so
And then he died.
so Kung Lao
And then he
like
died.
fully failed to do that.
Yes,
Oh,
as did Zero,
100%.
her
Like
bodyguard.
instantly. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's having a real crisis of conscience because he's like, man, I should have killed Takeda when I had the chance before this shit happened. No, wait, I should have killed Shang Tsung
Yeah, that would have
Before-
probably.
Yeah.
before he
He's
did this
feeling
to
a lot
Takeda.
of survivor's guilt that he instigated.
Yes.
Huh.
Because
Yeah.
every decision up to this point has been in his hands. That would mean that Genevieve did not die.
Yeah. So now he's got two new friends, though. He's got Ciro and Taja, and he talks to them about training with him. And they sort of agree. Taja, living her whole life as a thief and a bandit, has decided she wants to now dedicate her life to something good for once. And Ciro is just super pissed off about Jen dying, and he wants revenge on Takeda, and he wants revenge on Shang Tsung. But he doesn't really believe in all the Mortal Kombat nonsense.
Hmm.
But he agrees to help out anyway.
We forgot something really important. Scorpion does say "get over here."
Yes, Scorpion does. It's
Yeah, I
the
figured.
lamest. It's the lamest get over here.
It's
you've
one
ever
of the
heard,
worst
though.
"get over here's" imaginable.
It's very bad. Little side note about the guy who plays Scorpion in this: it is Chris Casamassa who also plays him in the first movie. So he came back for the role. That's pretty sweet.
Okay, that's pretty sick. Yeah.
So now the three are going to set up in the just the immediately abandoned trading post.
Like everything
right?
is gone. It's like
All
it
the
got
people are gone.
ransacked while they were fighting. It's
Yes.
unbelievable. Like
It's
it's as if they lived in a Walmart and then they ran out and fought, and then they came back and the entire Walmart had been completely vacated of all of its products.
Yeah.
Or anything.
Yeah, and as far as we know, it's like the next day.
It has not.
But,
Yeah. And so just for clarity's sake,
Wow. So
That
that is
is
a
the
town full
end-
of real garbage people.
yes, this is the end of the pilot.
Yes.
Wow.
So now,
a lot happens.
yeah,
The pilot was
Yeah.
2 parts in defense of the pilot, but that is the pilot.
yes. All right. So they head back into town, and they give Kung Lao gives Taja the keys to the trading post and tells her to open up. And he and Ciro are going to go into town and get provisions. So presumably they go out, they do their shopping, probably stop for a beer, get to know each other as boys do.
Zhu Zin Applebee's.
They go to Zhu Zin Applebee's, I'm sure. That's another regular.
It's an established location.
And they head back to the trading post. And when they walk in, they just walk in on Taja getting absolutely wrecked by a Lin Kuei ninja.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, just getting just beat
Now,
all
Ben,
the heck.
it's worth telling you this now. Taja is often the first point of contact, by which I mean like combat sport. And she is often, the boys return and she's getting beat up or captured or has a terrible warning.
Yeah.
They do not treat Taja with the most tact. And to give a quick sense of just the dynamic that does develop, because I feel like it's worth knowing, Kung Lao is like the sudden leader who is trying to figure out like how he goes about doing this and being responsible for so many people's lives. And this is that.
He's a real centrist.
Kung Lao's a centrist, Ciro's a himbo, and
Taja's
Taja
just
is
smart.
the only one with a fucking sensible head on her shoulders, and she is very rarely given the chance to show that off because the writers
Yes.
put her in fucking useless situations all the time.
She does get moments to really be the hero and storylines of her own as the series goes on, but in these early episodes, it is just a whole lot of Taja gets knocked out, and then the boys have to fight whoever did that.
Wow.
So that's what they do. They fight the Lin Kuei ninja, and they're able to defeat him, and they start to try to question him when the Lin Kuei ninja just sort of breaks his own neck.
Breaks
No
his,
snitching.
breaks his
Reaches
own
up,
neck?
just
He is
commits.
being held.
It's a harakiri.
Yeah, he is being held and captured, and they're like, "Tell us who sent you? What's the deal?" And he just sits there and he just snaps his own neck, with
Yep.
his own hands.
Yes.
Is
Right.
that? Do you guys think that's possible?
What I think, you know how they say like you could bite through your finger because it's like a carrot
Yeah.
equivalent, but like your brain won't let you.
Mm-hmm.
I very much assume it's that, but the Lin Kuei is a cult, so maybe they have like re-engineered their brains in such a way they are just like go to the clan and then just a quick snap and it's all done.
Yeah.
Got
The
it.
problem is it's not really something you can practice because
Yeah, you get one shot, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. So, but this guy nailed it on the first try, presumably.
Oh, good for him.
Dude, can you imagine how embarrassing it would be if you're getting interrogated and you attempt to snap your own neck and it doesn't work?
Instead, you're
And they're
just
like,
paralyzed, but you're still like there and alive.
well, now that you're done, whatever that was, we'd like some answers, please.
So, over the next few days, Lin Kuei ninjas just kind of keep attacking the trading post, and they keep having to fight them off. And they sort of figure out that they must be showing up because they're looking for something, right? So, like after one attack, the Lin Kuei run away. Zero runs off after one of the survivors, and Kung Lao and Taja just start tearing the place apart, trying to figure out like what's attracting their attention, right?
A place that had been gutted for the most part of much of what it had that was valuable. Like they still have like bedrooms and stuff, but as a storefront, it's not like they're looking to steal like gold or something. The implication is that like there is something more significant than that is digging around. So they're plucking through everything. There's like closets and drawers and whatever. And Kung Lao finds a secret drawer with a hidden crystal inside of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
love a hidden crystal.
And there's this red glowing crystal, and he's like, I wonder what that is. Before he really has time to process it, Sub-Zero arrives.
Yep.
Oh,
The
wait.
Sub-Zero in full ninja outfit
Well, hold on.
is here.
But it's 500 years ago.
I know. It's very, very confusing.
So Sub-Zero, the
Sub-Zero's
Sub-Zero is here.
Yes.
And he starts
Presumably-
shooting ice at everything, and it gets fucking
Presumably
wild.
Bihan.
How are the
Presumably
ice
Bihan.
effects on this 90s TBS show?
They're
about
okay.
as what you're gonna. They're okay.
They're
When
rebootish.
the static, like the practical things that are frozen, look good, but like the actual projectiles look like hot garbage,
Got it.
garbage. They look like cold garbage.
So
Yeah.
they have a fight, and so it's important to establish that the Lin Kuei know that they have a cryomancer on their hands, and so they've been attempting to sort of build him up. Separately, we've seen scenes of him practicing all of his cool kicks and punches over top of a Lin Kuei symbol and getting frozen in big blocks of ice to practice being frozen in ice.
Also
And-
being mostly naked.
Being extremely naked and super ripped. And
Yes.
so
Hell yeah.
this is his first big confrontation as like a budding cryomancer. And
he's a young buck.
He uses too much ice too fast, and he runs out of ice power. Like his meter is empty, and he gives up and runs away.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't fully. He's still thinking about making a snatch for the crystal, but Raiden shows up, and he's like, "Oh fuck, Raiden's here. I'm just gonna run away now." Right.
And either he knows who Raiden is, or more likely, a man with lightning powers just teleported into the room. That's terrifying. I'm out of ice.
Yeah,
I can't
I'm
possibly fight
I'm
this
just
guy.
JV Lin Kuei. I'm not ready yet.
Right. So Raiden tells Kung Lao he sees the crystal. Kung Lao's like, "Hey, this is what that guy was after," and Raiden's like, "Well, you better fucking give me that. That thing is dangerous. That is a crystal that allows travel to different realms, and we cannot let that fall in the hands of the Lin Kuei or Shao Kahn or Shang Tsung. Nobody can have this thing."
But Kung Lao's like, actually, that sounds pretty fucking cool. And also, Raiden, you never let me do anything I want. So how about fuck you? What if we kept it?
Yeah.
And Raiden's like, I think you should really give it to me. Like, I'm not joking anymore. Kung Lao's like, fuck you, Dad. You can't make me do that. I'm keeping it.
And he does. And I'm gonna fast forward us just a little bit. We do learn in a later episode that he took this crystal into the city and left it in the care of a woman who he seems to just booty call.
Wait, Kung Lao booty calls?
Yes.
Wait, but he had a girlfriend.
He
We
did.
She died yesterday.
She
I know.
did. Your guess is as good as ours. When we like the amount of things, like we don't ever see, like they're not hooking up on camera or anything, but the implication is one because
Yes.
like he shows up and she's not like, oh hey, Kung Lao, what's up? She's like, oh,
Haven't seen
Kung
you in a
Lao.
while.
And she's like getting kind of touchy, and he's like, I'm not here for that. I have this magical crystal. Can you hide it, please?
She's also in her underwear when we do see her.
She is, yeah.
And asks him to stay the night. So, I mean, it's pretty clear.
Yeah,
Right.
so this is the first bit we get of Kung Lao sort of like
Maybe
in
it was
growing
an
into this.
relationship, I guess.
It could have
I
been.
know. They could have been part of like a throuple, for instance, maybe.
Oh, Neil, do you have a screenshot on hand of the Lin Kuei like masters?
I've got Sub-Zero. Hold on. Oh,
Okay.
here's Sub-Zero training.
And again, they don't ever specify which Sub-Zero he is.
No.
Well, so if this is in
Well-
continuity with Annihilation, we know that Sub-Zero 2 shows up in that, so this is presumably Bihan.
Well, it could be. I mean, we don't know if
How many
Lin Kuei had
cryomancers there
another cryomancer.
are.
Yeah, because we know that they came over
Right.
from Outworld, and we know that they eventually helped
Yeah.
give into the lineage of Bihan and Kuai Lang. So this could be like an
Yeah.
ancestor.
And
there,
he's
so
not
Lin Kuei, we don't
named.
know. Yeah.
His
Right,
name
he's
is
never
Sub-Zero.
Yes, his name is we just know him as Sub-Zero.
So
And the Lin Kuei do mention that it's been a long time since they've had a student with the ancient powers. So it does
Oh.
set up this idea that there's been a line of
it does make a
cryomancers
weird
or-
split if you're dealing with like smoke or something, because it seems to me anyway that they are very specifically referring to cryomancy and not like just a guy with powers.
right.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, because they have a training program put in place specifically for cryomancers.
yes,
It involves hot coals and dry ice and all kinds of weird shit.
and
Mm-hmm.
the headmasters at the Lin Kuei are like
They look like Ben. You know what the Lin Kuei Grandmaster looked like in mythologies. They look like that, except their eyes are
Yeah.
covered.
Absolutely tight is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
and but like they're
Same-
they're like weirdly they're condescending as hell. Like they're having him try to create ice in a hot room, and so they're like, oh man, it's so hot in here, and like, oh, you're trying so hard to freeze that. I bet you could really use some water, huh? Fucking idiot. Come on, freeze that water, idiot. Come on. Like it's
Oh,
so
fucking
weird.
turd. Yeah.
They're like
There's a faraway shot of the Lin Kuei if you want to check that out.
the
Yeah,
amount
I'll
of
zoom in and enhance.
Yeah,
the amount of authority figures that neg on this show is kind of insane.
Yeah, it
'Cause
doesn't say a
Raiden's
lot
doing-
about like the writing staff's abilities as say parents or teachers.
No, it's tough. So
the whole writing staff hated their dads and has channeled that into this show.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like a lot of characters in this show period seem to have tenuous relationships with their parents if we are aware of their parents. Like Kung Lao obviously got raised at the temple, but like Taja has no family. She was abandoned by her family. Zero has a bad relationship with his family.
With his brother and his dad specifically.
Yeah, this is not like the nuclear family is not welcome here.
Yeah. Right. Oh, one last bit of trivia. Sub-Zero was played by J.J. Perry, who plays Scorpion in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So that's pretty cool.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. All right. So sometime later, after all of this, Kung Lao is trying to get Zero and Taja to, go to church with him at the temple. And they're just like really not having it, right? So they want to leave, and they get up and they're like, "Hey, Kung Lao, this just isn't for us. You can do your church thing all you want. We're devout atheists, and we're out of here."
I have a quick anecdote about church, if I may, just to sort of set up the vibe here.
Sure.
I don't know if either of you had to go to church growing up or anything.
Nope.
I went to Catholic schools, so I did, not because my family especially wanted me to, but just by virtue of that. There was a mass every month and you went. And for those of us who were not particularly interested, what Zero and Taja are doing is exactly what you do in a church service you don't care about, which is fall asleep, or you whisper talk to each other really stupid jokes until you start laughing too loud and somebody gets in trouble. That is what happens without question every time somebody is in a church service they don't care about, to the point where I can think of specific examples in my life where I would be sitting with friends and we are like 10 years old, just not listening to the priest at all. I know at the time, I don't know how old I would have been, but something that sticks out in my mind is around when Halo 3 was coming out. There were
yeah.
Sure, big time in life.
That period in your life, yes.
Yeah. Yes, huge.
The priest. I had 2 Halo 3 posters. That's not a joke. So
You're all there for that.
The priest uses the word covenant a lot. Covenant also being a big Halo thing. So me and my friend would hear that and then just make jokes about that to ourselves, to the point where I think the priest said it at one point and we just burst out laughing in church at the word covenant, and we got separated from each other and had to sit next to teachers. But
wow.
We would like lean around the teacher and like try to see if the other person was also looking, to make like eye contact anytime like a similarly funny thing was said. And Cyril and Taja are effectively doing that.
Yeah.
They are sitting next to each other, cracking jokes and trying not to fall asleep. God, that makes me sound like the most disrespectful shit-heel child.
No, that's very relatable.
Okay, great.
Leave it all in. Yeah. Fortunately, Kung Lao's church is a lot cooler, and Kung Lao's a lot cooler, and he's like, hey, guys, I get it. This isn't for you. You can head back, right? And so is Master Huang, one of Kung Lao's trainers. He's a much older man at this point, and he's like, yeah, no sweat. You guys can take off. Oh, don't forget your water. And he hands them a water skin, and he takes a swig out of it first because he's pretty hot and sweaty running down the road after them. They let him take a drink. He goes back to the temple, and he's sitting down next to Kung Lao, Master Huang, and Master Huang just kind of falls over dead.
Oh.
And then crumbles into a skeleton, and sort of
that skeleton crumbles into dust.
Yeah.
So okay, so a 2-step disintegration.
He's an old man.
Yeah.
And he takes a sip of the water, and by the time he has walked back the 5 minutes or whatever, he crumbles into dust and dies.
Yep. And so something's up with this water, and Kung Lao at the temple is sort of like...
Sorry, that's the funniest screenshot you could possibly have.
That's the monk crumble right there. Right?
It's iconic.
Yeah.
I know that this is not a visual podcast, but that's really funny.
Right. So Kung Lao sort of, works through this and figures out something is wrong, because monks don't typically just crumble into skeletons, and he determines it must have been in the water, and it must have been meant for him, right? This is another Shang Tsung ploy to kill Kung Lao. So he runs after Ciro and Taja, and he gets all the way back to the trading post the next morning, and they come downstairs, and they have just rapidly aged.
Like they are in old makeup.
Yes.
There they are. Just old as hell. Just turbo.
So,
I think I at one point described it as a turbo reverse Benjamin Button, which is not really an accurate description.
It's a reverse turbo Benjamin Button.
So
it's
is
early.
This the second episode, or is this the third episode?
This is the fourth episode.
Fourth
now.
episode. Okay, so there's
all
a two-part
that Sub-Zero
pilot.
stuff.
The Sub-Zero stuff was the plot of
Three.
the third of episode 3.
Yes.
And now
It
the
sounds
plot
like
of
it went
episode
by
4
so
is Old
fast.
Water.
Yeah. So it sounds like it went by so quickly only because we are only aware of the Sub-Zero material that Kung Lao saw. So there is like extensive training and discussion that we just skip because it's not relevant.
It doesn't sound like a particularly engaging B story anyway. Also, are these episodes is this an hour-long show?
Yeah.
Yeah, 44 minutes.
Wow.
Yes. So now Kung Lao is on a mission to reverse this magic, right? Before Ciro and Taja buy it. And this episode was the one that was really diving into the idea that, he's not going to age. His friends are going to age, even if it's not through magic. They're just going to get old and die before he does.
And he does not want to be immortal. He didn't want it in the first place.
Yeah.
So to be
really
immediately
calling into
confronted
question,
with,
yes.
Oh, wow, this is what's going to happen. It's in real time. And everybody I ever love, which, yes, he has already had to deal with because Genevieve died. And now his new friends are also dying, and he's constantly being assailed by ninjas and sorcerers. And he's just like, Raiden, this seems like a bit of a raw fucking deal.
Yeah. But he's Kung Lao. He wants to save their lives, right?
Yeah.
So he figures out that there's someone near the temple in the woods this old witch named Omegis who can potentially help with this situation. So he goes off on a quest to find her, and he does, and he's expecting this old old haggard
She's
lady
gonna be hot.
because she's apparently
Yeah,
been
I'm
alive
ahead of
for
you. She's
centuries.
gonna be hot. She's gonna answer the door in her
Yeah.
underwear.
Yep.
You're
Yeah.
100% correct.
You've never
She's
been more right.
Hey, I actually am a sex magic witch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No. Yep.
Yeah.
100%. She's played by Angelica Bridges from
Yep.
Baywatch.
Okay. Yeah.
And she's reluctant to help him until he mentions that this magic was done by Shang Tsung. And then she's like, oh, I fucking hate that guy. Here's the cure. You can have
I
it.
wasn't gonna help you, but I'd like to spitefully fuck up Shang Tsung's whole
Yeah.
day.
Sure.
So here
he
is some
gets-
magic.
Right. So he's like, all right, cool, sweet. I got the cure. I'm going to run back to my friends and save their lives. And when he gets there, he is confronted with Shang Tsung, who has used up all of his magic to teleport to Earthrealm so that
He's
can...
like, I'm gonna kick your ass.
And he challenges Kung Lao to a rematch of Mortal Kombat in order to save his friend's life. And Kung Lao accepts the challenge.
Here's an important note. He did not have to. If he said no, now we know that Shang would have retaliated, but just to get the logistics clear, like the Elder God rules are in place. They cannot just fight because it goes against the rules of Mortal Kombat. So Kung Lao had to say yes. If he did not say yes, the fight, like Shang Tsung can't attack him, which is why he comes up with all of these harebrained schemes because he is hampered by the rules of Mortal Kombat. Yeah,
right.
So
totally.
that's why, like, he'll send Vorpax to help with something, or he'll poison the water hole, like a cowboy, or
hire the Lin Kuei,
or possess Takeda or whatever. It's because he physically cannot fight him.
Yes,
unless Kung Lao agrees,
Accepts.
which he does at his first opportunity.
And then he just completely demolishes Shang Tsung in this fight. Like, it wasn't even a competition. And I think the reason for that is that Shang Tsung is just weak from using his magic to escape.
Sure.
It was a bad plan all
long
around.
journey. Yeah.
But it was a really, really bad fucking plan. And but
and he's gonna blame Vorpax for this anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, he does. Vorpax is the one who poisoned the water, so clearly it's her fault.
I love that they're just like throwing these two together like right away. Like modern television, you'd build up to at the end of the season, Shang Tsung and Kung Lao will face each other again. But this show is just like, it's been a couple episodes. Let's get Shang back in there.
Just right away.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then Zero and Taja are dying. So instead of killing Shang Tsung, Kung Lao rushes over to give them the antidote to the magic.
Sure.
And Shang Tsung's able to escape again.
And now Kung Lao is at this weird point where it's like, you'd kind of think like it's a bit confidence building to see your rival and just viciously kick the shit out of him first try.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first fight that they had was a bit of a closer match, but he's also starting to sort of get the impression where it's like, this is just my life now, isn't it? It's just schemes and constant agony all the time.
Horribly depressed, just like
ninjas of the week. Someone's always climbing in the windows trying to kill me.
Yeah.
You know.
And to be fair, he is right. He's completely right.
Yes.
And then, as mentioned, Shang goes back to the Cobalt Mines and is going to try to come up with a new scheme, basically.
Yes.
For the opening part of the series, other characters do eventually get involved on the, hey, I would like to kill Kung Lao.
Yeah, they really mix it up. Sometimes it's Shao Kahn, sometimes it's Quan Chi, sometimes, but for the most part in these early ones, it's just Shang Tsung.
Mm.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a brand new original character antagonist.
Yes. Yeah, you get a few of those.
Wow.
We aren't getting to today, but I want that seed planted because it's fucking insane. It's ridiculous.
Right. So after all this action, though, the combat crew, as we affectionately call them, decide that they need like a day of like rest and relaxation. So they go to like the local spa in Zhuzhen. Right? And they're just all taking a steam together,
Yeah, just you get together with your buddies to take a steam.
Yeah, and they're just like, man, this is so nice. Like, we've had such a tough week. Like, what a relaxing thing.
Is it going to be old steam?
That would have been a good bit. They could have just kept trying it.
Yeah.
However, it's not old steam. Zero has been chatting up the attendant, I guess, or like the employee at this.
No, Taja has. Taja
Sorry.
made the deal.
Yeah, Taja made a deal with the person that runs the sauna to like get them in and have a nice time. And they're like, "Oh man, Taja, it's so great that you set this up." they get locked in the sauna, and all their stuff gets stolen
What?
Yeah.
by the person who Taja thought was cool.
What was the deal that was made?
That they were going to be able to use the sauna.
For like
That
a
they
lower
were going to be
price
able to use
than
the
normal.
sauna for like a discount.
Yeah.
Got it.
And they just got they just got robbed.
This show is a constant
Like-
string of people getting bamboozled.
Like literally just like took their wallets and left them locked in the steam room.
Classic.
And they're like, "Oh fuck, we were trying
Right.
to have a nice day off. Looks like we got to break out of this sauna and go find the person who stole all of our stuff." Ugh.
And this is the 5th episode, right?
Yes.
So by the
Yep,
5th
this is the-
episode, the main characters of the show were tired of being the main characters of the show.
And they will continue being tired of being the main characters of the show.
Yeah.
for
It's
the
an
rest of the
exhausting.
program.
Yeah.
It's an exhausting
Kung Lao
life.
more so than everybody because he is like, I have this newfound responsibility. Raiden is constantly like, why aren't you doing a better job training these fighters? Why aren't you just committing yourself wholeheartedly to this mission that you have for the rest of your potentially immortal life? Get over it. And while he's trying to do the best he can by the people that he is trying to take care of, he keeps getting caught up in hijinks. And
Yes.
it's just annoying at this point that it keeps happening every week.
Yeah. Of course.
So once they kick their way out of the steam room, he and Zero like take a walk around trying to look for the thief. They don't really find it, so they go back to the combat club, which is where Taja had returned
Taja
to.
went home and they opened the door and Taja is getting the shit kicked out of her.
Again,
Mhm.
yes. There are two strange women in here, and Taja has just like gotten beat up like crazy.
Yeah.
And these two women there's a woman named Kali and a woman who introduces herself as Princess Kitana.
What?
Yes.
Kali and
But-
Princess Kitana. Now, Kali is also an Edenian, and she is basically Tanya, only not named Tanya, and she wears purple.
Okay.
Yeah.
The purple is not significant because there will be a different character in purple later.
All
Right.
Wink,
All
wink,
right.
nudge, nudge.
Let me see. I think I've got a...
So they are
Well,
in there.
I mean, I guess she was alive, so sure.
Yeah, this one we can let slide because Edenians live for like thousands of years.
Yeah,
There
it makes some amount of sense.
So here's
This
our
is
first... this is
Katana
our
actress
first...
1 of 2.
Yes, they do recast Kitana
Oh.
later in the series.
So they're in there and Katana introduces herself and she's like, "Look, man, we came here in peace. This doesn't have to be a big deal. Everybody calm down." And Kung Lao's like, "We opened the door and you were kicking the shit out of my friend."
And yeah.
Please
Kitana's
don't
like,
do
well,
that.
I wasn't. Kali was. And I sort of broke the fight up. Like, Kali's a little, feisty, right? And she's like, we came here because we need help.
yeah.
And they're like, "This
Right.
is how you ask for help. You beat the shit out of our friend." And they're like, "I
Right.
guess."
Yeah.
Yes.
Kitana's
Yes,
like,
it
okay,
is.
so Katana's whole thing is she's looking for the essence of her realm, Edenia, which was destroyed by Shao Kahn,
Mm.
but they managed to hide what they call the essence of the realm, which she describes as a seed from which a realm could grow back. Right.
It's sort of like the soul of Edenia also.
Yes.
Like, and they
Right.
hid it in Earthrealm because they are now trapped in Outworld.
Yes. And our buddy Darren,
Is
our buddy
relevant.
Forgot
Darren,
about Darren.
yeah, Darren told us to come find you, right? And Kung Lao's like, oh shit, I know Darren. Okay, let's go talk to Darren, right? So he takes off with Princess Kitana, and they go to find this Darren guy near the temple, I suspect. Everything is either near the temple or near the city or just in the woods somewhere. And they get there, and poor Darren has been killed.
Murdered.
Well, he's dying.
Yeah.
He's dying.
That makes sense.
He's dying. And Kitana is like,
You
oh
would have
shit,
an
Darren.
easier time counting the amount of times Kung Lao enters a room and someone isn't getting beat up or dying than the amount of
Right,
times
okay.
they,
Sure, maybe that's what we'll do is when someone isn't dying, we'll talk about it. And when someone is dying, we just won't say anything.
That'd be helpful.
It'll be just like the baseline. So, but as Darren is dying, he manages to say like one last sentence. He addresses Kitana
Best
as he says, he must win. And she's like, what the fuck's God? And then the whole series resets, and we go all the way back to the pilot.
Mhm.
No,
But everything's a
he
little
says,
bit wacky.
he addresses her as the Emperor's stepdaughter, right? Because she had left that crucial piece of information out.
And now,
So-
is there any good reason Darren said this? Absolutely not.
Of course not. Why would there be?
Not even a little bit. He could have
Yeah.
just said, Katana, you're pretty cool, and just died, and it would have been
Sure.
fine. But Kung Lao was like, who the fuck stepdaughter are you? You're Shao
Yeah,
Kahn's stepdaughter? I hate that guy.
Yeah, I can't trust you. He tries to fight her. He cannot, literally can't lay a finger on her. She dodges every attack he throws at her.
They're also
doesn't
in a
fight-
room full of pillars, so
Yeah,
they're dodging
it looks-
around pillars and shit.
It's honestly
Naturally.
sick as hell. It's rad looking.
It's pretty tight.
But she just sort of dodges his attacks and gets out of there, right? So he's now chasing her through the forest, and he finally catches up, and she's like, all right, can we just talk about this, bro? And she fills him in on how Shao Kahn conquered her realm, Edenia, and killed her father, King Jared, and made her mother commit suicide. And now he
Do they
keeps her
name
as
her mom? I don't.
they don't name
No.
they don't name her mom. No. But I mean, it's Sindel.
Oh,
We
she
know
didn't
that.
deserve a name. Yeah.
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 Again, you're
In
getting
right.
the sense of how this series looks at women.
Got it.
Sure.
Yeah. Mhm.
Not great.
Yes. Yeah, it's a lot of Sindel erasure in this series. Yeah, and she's like, "Look, I'm here. I got to find this thing. I got to keep it safe from Shao Kahn. I know it's hidden somewhere near the Shaolin Temple. So, Kung Lao, can you please go find it and protect it for me? And I'm going to go back and distract Shao Kahn."
Worth mentioning.
Yeah.
The last time Kung Lao was tasked with protecting something,
He did a
He-
very
yeah.
bad
took it
job.
to his friend's house and was like, "Hey, can you hide this for me?" So
Yeah, he's-
maybe you don't want to be trusting him with the soul seed of your entire realm, but
Seems like going to Raiden would have been the better idea.
it seems like, however, Raiden, as mentioned, sort of just shows up whenever he wants, and he's often not helpful. He doesn't speak in riddles per se, but he tries to set up some kind of intellectual or emotional realization in Kung Lao
Oh,
that
boy.
lets him discover something for himself rather
Yeah.
than just saying the helpful thing.
Yeah, I'm
Or
not sure that
evil
the writers had problems with their parents so much as they were bad parents and thought this was good parenting.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a cycle,
yeah,
like
yeah.
if you don't know any better, you're
So-
just going to keep doing it.
yeah,
Sure.
like Kung Lao will air an emotional frustration or being upset with being tasked with something that he thinks is unfair or this or that, and Raiden basically sort of hits him with that's the hand you've been dealt. You're gonna have to get over it and just do your job. Or if
Yeah.
you're like, Raiden, we really, really need your help. Like Princess Katana came, she is, trying to get Edenia away from Shao Kahn. We have to go find this, whatever. And he's just like, sounds pretty tough.
Look inside yourself.
Be careful, man. That sounds hard.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He's a
I'm
real
gonna go
boomer.
now. Bye. God, he is a fucking boomer. Shit.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, boy.
So, Kung Lao goes off to find the essence, and he does find it. It's just kind of sitting right out there in the open.
Oh, great.
If you knew
And
what you were
it's-
looking for, you'd find it. It looks pretty
Right.
innocuous, but
It's like a little stone altar with a leather pouch on it and a vine growing around it. So it's just right fucking there. And he shows up and grabs for it at the exact same time that Kali shows up and grabs for it. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she's like, "I need the essence because I need to give it to Shao Kahn so he'll spare my people."
she is
Right.
she is betraying Katana and by extension Edenia in a
Yes.
way.
Yes.
She wants it to ultimately spare Edenians by getting good graces, but she's also guaranteeing that Edenia as a place will never come back.
Right. Kung Lao's like, "I don't think I can let you do that." And then Vorpax shows up.
Oh,
And
Vorp.
she's
Finally
and,
fucking talking about Vorpax.
and this is the first time Kung Lao has come face to face with Vorpax. Right?
God.
Yeah. And
Vorpax
she's like,
great.
and she's like, "I'm here. I'm the one who killed Darren, and I'm here for the essence, and I'm going to give it to Shang Tsung, and that's how we're going to get back on Shao Kahn's good side, right?" So now we have a fight, and
I'm-
it's Kung Lao.
Going to clarify here
Yeah.
that she may be dressed like Jade. Vorpax is not a Denian.
Right.
So
Vorpax
she,
is not a
she
Denian.
wants it for similar reasons, but she does not have the same personal stakes.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
sure.
So now we have a fight, and the fight's going pretty good. I mean, it's a sweet fight, right?
Yeah,
It's
so Kung Lao's kind of
it's-
getting double teamed.
yeah. Kali
nice.
and
Again, interpret that however you want.
hey
Sick, bro.
yo.
Oh, fucking hell yeah, dude.
All right.
Up top, let's go drink some Natty
Yeah.
Light.
And then just like everyone else shows up, right? Like Shang Tsung shows up, Katana shows up, Katana finds out that
Shang Tsung can
Kali
apparently
betrayed
bring himself
her.
to Earthrealm and get out of the Cobalt Mines whenever the fuck he
Yeah.
wants.
Right. But this time he won't challenge, he doesn't challenge Kung Lao to a fight because he knows Kung Lao's not going to do it, right? So he just tries to do like a snatch and grab for the essence.
He's kind of there to like psych Kung Lao out, basically. Like, now I'm here, the big bad. Whoa, and then just tries to
Yeah.
steal it.
I mean, the medium bad, really. Like,
Well,
there's-
sure.
Yeah. So he thinks he's swiped. He thinks he's been successful, Shang Tsung, and swiped the essence and gotten back into Outworld,
And
into
then
the mines.
the 4-packs are just like, see ya. Gotcha.
Yeah. But what he actually stole was just a bag full of maggots,
Oh, come on.
because
Maggot
it turns
bag.
Oh, you hit me with, I can't believe Kung Lao got me with the classic maggot bag trick.
Yeah.
Ugh. Last time
As it
I fell
turns-
for that was when I was in junior high.
Yeah, that classic prank.
Yeah.
You know,
Who's just
Yeah.
got one of those like on hand, by the way?
I don't know. I think
Kung
it must
Lao
have been
does.
sitting there already.
Presumably there was something like in the bag already.
That attracted the maggots. I get it. Okay.
Right.
Sure.
But, and like, so there's
Just like an old donut. Someone just left an old donut in a bag.
Yeah.
and so they realize they have maggot bag because Kung Lao had the wherewithal to discover that the actual essence of Edenia was on the vine. It is a flower that was on the vine,
Oh.
Yes.
and he kept that to himself. They had a big fight. Didn't matter if they won or lost because he had
Yep.
it with him the whole time. And
Right.
once again, Shang Tsung takes out the failure of the plan on 4-packs, even though it's not her fault.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
get into that just a little bit, because we have not had a chance to talk about Vorpax yet. Vorpax is just someone who is also in the Cobalt Mines, who is similarly angling to try to get out of the Cobalt Mines, or at least get into Shao Kahn's good graces. And because Shang Tsung is a powerful sorcerer and also just a domineering piece of shit, they enter a kind of uneasy partnership wherein
Mhm.
Shao Kahn essentially takes whatever he wants, and she just sort of plays ball because she does not really have a lot of other options.
Yeah.
For some reason, they are not being tasked with like any of the actual mining that goes on in the Cobalt Mines. They're just sort of trapped there.
Yeah, they just
Um,
kind of hang out all day.
They sort of hang out in
what?
Shang Tsung's area.
She uses other prisoners and guards' horniness to bait them
Hmm.
into being killed
So
by
Shang
Shang Tsung,
can take
so he can
souls.
take their souls.
Yeah.
he's trying to
Right.
power up if he
Yes.
can. Can you guys hear that my roommate just started playing drums?
Not really.
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
I think you're good.
Because if I don't have to tell him to stop, I won't.
Right.
But if I do, I will.
Right. So Kung Lao's met Princess Kitana, and he's managed to save the essence of Edenia for her, and they're going to keep it safe at the Shaolin Temple, I think, or he's going to keep it safe somewhere. And now Kung Lao's got a little bit of a crush on Princess Kitana, which
And
is
I know what you're thinking. Did
kinda
his
weird.
girlfriend die a couple weeks ago? Yes.
yes,
Was he madly in love with Jen? Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
Have we already seen one other woman he was potentially hooking up with on a somewhat regular basis? Yes.
Seems like more than a potential situation, but yes.
yeah.
Is he also falling basically instantly for Katana? Yes.
Well, she's Katana.
Yep.
She is
From
Katana.
Mortal Kombat.
That's correct.
Right.
So it was kind of an
Yeah.
inevitability.
Be fucked up if it turns out, because like Liu Kang in this universe is a descendant of Kung Lao. Like, what if Katana's like his great 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 grandma?
That's a lot
Whoa.
of generations removed if you think about it. So it's probably fine.
Yeah, I guess
Okay. I'm
Katana
just- well-
could, in theory, have bore many generations of children.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows how it works? That's what we really need to dive into on our show, Corey. Is just like the
Genealogy,
mechanics, yes,
mechanics of the genealogy of Mortal Kombat.
and of like Edenian mating
yeah. So
specifically.
Ben, really quick, I just want to get a bit of like a barometer here. So there's one more episode we're gonna go through. Where are you at with this? Like, I
I'm
know it's not
gonna-
like especially complicated, but like, what's your vibe? How do you feel about it?
Boy, they really covered a lot of territory on this show rapidly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I will say,
Yes.
like, the Hercules, I am a big fan of Hercules and Xena, and it does feel like an apt comparison in that, yeah, you have an hour-long show. You can kind of tell a baby action movie in an hour. The weird thing about this show is, like, It's really hard to tell what the point of the central conflict is, other than Shang Tsung really doesn't like Kung Lao.
So
and
for the first 10 episodes, that's pretty much it.
Yes.
yeah, okay. How many
Yeah.
were there total? 20, 30?
22.
22.
22. Yeah.
Was it one
And
season
plans-
or 2 seasons?
One season, plans for a second one, but it never got made. But some of that information is out there. And eventually we will talk about that as well. So,
Mhm.
And
They really-
they're speeding
they-
through the lore in part because, like I said, later in the series, they have a whole original character antagonist that they introduce.
Mhm.
So
yes.
they're setting up dominoes for that, basically.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, it's Monster of the Week without feeling like it's building to something for several episodes.
Yeah, it feels
Yes.
very hung up on the larger narrative, despite the Monster of the Week stories clearly being more interesting. But also, it seems like they're trying to tie those into the larger narrative.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very
it's
weirdly
ambitious.
complicated set of affairs that
Yeah.
they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Yes.
And eventually you'll have like primary characters in 3 different realms at any given time with like multiple things happening simultaneously.
Mhm.
So this actually seems quite quaint, all things considered, but
Yeah.
it's almost
interesting.
too quaint.
Wow.
However, this last episode we're going to cover is not quaint in the slightest.
Yeah, we got one more thing we want to talk about, and then I think we can call it for now.
All right.
And this is just sometime, after all of these events, after your Scorpions and your Sub-Zeros and your Katanas and your reverse turbo Benjamin Button magic and all of that kind of stuff. And Kung Lao's just kind of hanging out in Zhu Zin, walking through the city, and he sees his roommate, Zero, in a fight with a bunch of thugs in the middle of the market and getting his ass beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Kung Lao's like, oh shit, my friend, he's in trouble. And he runs up.
Time to activate
he's-
my Mortal Kombat champion powers and kick the shit out of everybody.
He's ready to fight. He's got Zero's back. And all the bandits are just kind of like, oh shit, that's that Mortal Kombat guy. Let's get out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like he's sort of becoming a little bit of a local celebrity at this point. People know who he is.
I would imagine so.
He's constantly fighting ice ninjas just right in the market square and whatever.
And it's one of those things where
So-
even if people don't believe in Mortal Kombat per se, his reputation is still one of a dude that will kick your ass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So he's
For
like
good, for justice or whatever.
Right. He's checking on Zero, and Zero's kind of wounded from the battle, and not just physically wounded. Like you get in the sense that like Zero's pride is wounded too, because Zero's a big burly man, and he loves to fight. And he was getting beat up, and Kung Lao came in and just by showing up saved him from the fight. Right.
And
So
you get real like bratty teenager, I can take care of myself energy from
yes,
Zero.
totally. Right. And Kung Lao doesn't really get it, right? He doesn't understand why Zero didn't call for help sooner, why he's kind of upset at him
Yeah,
over
like we're
intervening.
a team, like we're a unit. This is what we do. Like you were in danger, I helped you. I don't understand what the problem is. And he's like, "Look, man, everybody already knows you're hot shit, and I can take care of myself.
Right.
You didn't need to make
Yeah.
me look like a weak baby boy, in that fight."
Yeah, so they're not talking. They're kind of avoiding each other. The energy in the apartment is like real weird.
Oh yeah.
tense,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
sure.
Kung Lao's
Kung Lao just puts his
decides
headphones
to,
in.
Right.
Pretends
Yes.
he's doing something. Yeah.
Lo-fi beats to mope to.
Yeah.
But he's had enough of this, so he decides he's going to make up with Zero, and he goes out to the market and he buys Zero like a brand new knife, something he saw Zero admiring, like a sweet dagger. And he's like, comes
It's
back
not
to the
a
trading
Kami-Doku
post.
dagger. I will cut that off now.
Yeah, and he's just
Ugh.
Kung Lao's just glowing. He's got this gift for his friend. This is going to make everything better. He's calling out for Zero to come give it to him, and Zero's not there. He's not home, so Kung Lao just sort of like leaves the knife, leaves the gift for him,
Mhm.
and just like goes to bed for the night. Right?
Sure.
Gets up early the next morning, starts training. Zero comes out of his bedroom, and Zero's got the knife, and he's just also just super happy. Thanks, Kung Lao. Thank you so much for this gift. I love it. We're best friends again. Everything's cool, right?
Mhm.
Right as this happens, this black ooze pours into the trading post.
Yeah, I figured there'd be a
And
black ooze thing.
Forms into just this all black,
Slick.
oily, slick leather daddy.
Mm-hmm.
just up on a high, up on a high ridge, up on a high wall inside the trading post.
He's
and
not even the
like,
first antagonist to randomly appear in that spot,
no.
and he will not be the last.
It's the designated spot for antagonists to land on when they come to the trading post. And he just sort of bellows out, hey, Kung Lao, my name is Noob Saibot, and I'm going to kill you.
Oh.
But
So my favorite
Yeah.
part about telling the story from Kung Lao's perspective is that the show will set up a Mortal Kombat character, and then Kung Lao really doesn't see it until they arrive and say they're going to kick his ass.
yes.
And okay.
Right.
Okay.
So Noob Saibot shows up just to say, I'm going to fuck your shit up, but later, and then he leaves, right?
All right. And that's the episode.
Zero immediately
Oh, if
takes off
only it
after this
were.
guy. And Kung Lao's like, what the fuck just happened? And then Taj is like, all right, sit down. I got to fill you in on some stuff. Okay, so your boy Zero was feeling bad about that fight the other night. And this lady came up to him in the market. She said she knew a powerful seer and they would help him like get real strong. So he went to see these two ladies, these two fortune tellers named Kiri and Anka.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's favorite Mortal Kombat characters, Kiri and Anka. And they told him that if he went underground under the city, he'd find some old catacombs. And there was a tomb in there where he could fight against a powerful warrior. And if he won the fight, that warrior's power would then get put into him and he would be super duper strong.
Yeah.
So he went to do that. And I kind of went with him and we went down there and there was like oil and shit and fire everywhere. And we did fight these two like statues that came to life, but neither of us got any power. Starting to think maybe something else was going on with all of that, right? We better go check it out. So Kung Lao and Taja take off to find this underground tomb. And when they get there, the oily dude again rises up from the floor and starts fighting Kung Lao. And he's locked in battle with Noob Saibot. It's a pretty brutal fight. A lot of capoeira in that fight, actually. And then he's kind of on the ropes when Zero finally shows up with his brand new dagger given to him by Kung Lao. Takes it, wraps it in an oily rag, lights it on fire, and throws it at Noob Saibot, burns him up, and they think he's dead, and they escape. Right?
Sure.
I did just drop something in, Ben, so you can get a sense of what we're trying to illustrate here.
Mm-hmm.
It's real leathery and wet, and
yeah. That's like some Hellraiser shit.
It is a little bit Hellraiser, and that's Kiri that he's standing with, and so Kiri and Anka. Everybody's favorite Mortal Kombat character, Kiri. So Kiri and Anka. Thank you, Neil, for that. The set's pretty cool. They do fight in like an orange or a red like smoke pit, fog pit.
Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Kiri and Anka have some sort of arrangement with Noob Saibot.
Yeah.
We see them having discussions about going and getting Kung Lao. They're all in on it in some capacity.
Right.
Seemingly to help one of the several people that want Kung Lao dead get him. Though,
yes,
I believe, is this Shao Kahn instead of Shang Tsung? Am I remembering that right?
So this was Kiri and Anka acting independently, wanting to, but they are loyal to Shao Kahn, and they're telling Noob Saibot that if he kills Kung Lao, he'll get back on Shao Kahn's good side. So they're kind of bartering whatever Noob Saibot's past was to get him back in good with the Emperor. And I think to get themselves in good with him also.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting that this is the most egregious the women objectifying has gotten up to this point. Because Kiri and Anka's whole vibe is we sure love touching each other.
Not the most that we're gonna see, but the most we've seen up to this point.
Yeah, right.
Now,
we've reached an apex so far. Yeah.
Right. Now, Ben, I know what you're thinking. I know that you're confused because historically, this is not what we know Noob Saibot to be, right? But don't worry. The show does explain it to us.
Oh. Is it going to be like Scorpion where they're like Noob Saibot's more of a title than a name per se?
Well, when the crew is talking to Raiden about this guy they fought and what they saw, Raiden tells them, "Oh, I know who you're talking about. That guy's Noob Saibot." He's a ninja with amazing powers
Mhm.
from a distant realm.
Hmm.
I had no idea he was on Earth realm.
Oh, that clears it up. All right, cool.
Right?
Rated
No
is also
questions.
often unclear on no questions, no notes. He's often unclear on what's happening at any given time. Like he'll pop in and like, you guys, your fucking noob Cybot showed up, and it's like, yeah, we fought him already, and it's like fucking crazy, right? Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, be careful. Bye. And so, at this point in the series, I think it's worth illustrating like where Kung Lao is kind of at, because he is just exhausted from all of this.
Mhm.
And it's tough to chart a very specific kind of like character growth period because it is so like weekly basis that the characterization of the protagonist it's malleable. I'll put it that way. Like sometimes you see Kung Lao or Zero or Taj and you're just like, this is not how they behaved last episode. Something has come up. The writers needed something convenient. So somebody is in a mood. But
Whoa.
like, so Zero will go from being like the affable, funny guy to being like, you've hurt my pride, you piece of shit, I hate you. Or on a whim, somebody will suddenly be like, oh, I have to go do this or do that. And it's not super clear why. And Kung Lao has to grapple with that, often for the convenience of whatever plot they're trying to do in a given episode.
Yep.
But generally speaking, what we've seen of Kung Lao in the first 6 episodes is somebody who is ultimately trying to get more comfortable with his level of responsibility, and in a way is almost continually being distracted from doing that by this monster of the week problem that he has, where ninjas just keep arriving trying to kill him.
So many ninjas.
And he is embracing it a little bit more. He's talking to Raiden, sort of not resigning himself to the fact that he has to do this, but sort of steeling himself for like, this is my responsibility. I feel like I can take it on. But every time he wants to like train Zero and Taja or have a discussion with Raiden, it gets interrupted by some stupid wet ninja showing up. And it's like stifling his growth.
Yeah. Yeah. And that takes us through the first 6 episodes of Mortal Kombat Conquest.
What a journey.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
It is a very exhausting show, in all honesty.
It has a way of doing that. And think about all the stuff that we had to gloss over. Man, like you're missing so much dumb shit that happens in Outworld.
And yet I feel like I can see it in my mind's eye.
Oh, you can. You know what this show is. You have a sense of what this show is about.
Yeah.
And there is like 16 more episodes of it.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, I can't wait to dig into those episodes.
Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll get even more problematic in certain ways and a little bit better in others.
I mean, I guess my final thoughts on what I've heard so far is interesting depiction of Great Kung Lao. You know, he's always depicted as such a goody two-shoes, ideal, perfect monk that everyone's meant to look up to, but instead he seems like a little horny freak.
He's a little less horny, maybe it sounds, but he is not somebody who is readily accepting this responsibility, which I think diverts from the impression that you get. He's like, he starts off like a frustrated teenager who's like, I don't want to fucking do this shit.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be the chosen one, but he's the chosen one.
He's stuck being the chosen one.
If he has to bone his way through it all, he will.
I mean, I would argue he is, in fact, a horny freak. It's just he's under the level that the rest of the characters in the show are
Sure,
at.
he's a tier below horny-wise.
Yeah. Yes, it's still well above what you would expect. Just, you know.
It's a fucking hell of a show, man.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, and then the other characters are also there.
Yeah.
That's often how they feel. Yeah.
In some form.
Zero's interesting to me in that he seems to be several different archetypes just rolled into one relatively inconsistent.
It's whichever archetype they need at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tasha is a clear, Xena-esque character. She's a little troublemaker, but also is a victim.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to the NetherRealm stuff coming up. I know there's
Oh,
some
boy.
Quan Chi action. I'm also looking
Yeah.
forward
Oh,
to
yeah.
any more details in the future on how Noob Saibot could be appearing before
Well, Ben-
Bihan seemingly died.
I got bad news for
Bad
you.
news.
I'm never gonna
We're
get
not going to.
any more
No more,
information.
no more
why.
Noob
Yeah.
Saibot.
The most we get is in Mortal Kombat Annihilation when Noob Saibot pours out of Ermac during that last fight,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
that's it. So a little bit of just behind the scenes. Game wise, they didn't establish that Noob Saibot was Bihan
I
in the
know,
storyline
yeah.
until Deception. So this was done in the Mythologies and Mortal Kombat 4 era. And they just didn't have a backstory for him yet. So the show was like, all right, we'll do it.
Free reign.
And this is what they came up with.
Hey, listen, bad job all around, everyone.
No notes.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
Well, did you guys have anything left to share before we wrap up this first chunk of Conquest?
Oh, I think that's kind of it. Yeah. I
Oh.
will tease.
They do burn Kung Lao's clothes at the end of that episode. So he just takes his clothes off and they burn it.
Yeah.
Yes, important. And I will tease that the next time we do one of these, we will be picking up with an appearance of the Black Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Quan Chi shortly thereafter.
The lamest version of the Black
Black
Dragon
Dragon fucking sucks, Ben.
you'll ever know.
Well, they already sucked. So this is they're gonna have to work hard.
Buckle up.
I can't wait till you meet Jola and Kerbal.
Kerbal. Okay.
It's Cabral.
It's Kerbal.
But but he's got
So it's
real
like
Kerbal
Cabal,
energy.
but it's not Cabal.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And inconsistently spelled in the subtitles of the show.
Yeah,
Perfect.
those are also
Even
wrong.
better.
So that's where we're at. But I think
Great.
we can probably leave it there, yeah.
Yes.
Well, guys, thank you so much for sharing with me. We'll have to
boy.
set up part 2 soon because I won't retain probably any of that.
How does it feel?
Yeah.
I feel mostly guilt about what I've done to my guests in the past, and I just feel so drained. I'm gonna eat like a giant lunch after this just to try to like gain some energy and subsistence to keep going for the rest of the day.
Do you feel
Smart.
better knowing that your previous guests likely retained their childhood memories because there's just too much to remember?
No, I think I lost both. I think I lost my childhood memories and
That's tough.
whatever part of my brain was trying to write this into the cells failed. Yeah.
It like it cleared the space and then just gave up.
Yeah, those brain cells heated up too hot and they evaporated.
All right. So if nothing else, we freed up some space for you.
Yeah. I mean, I
that'll be good
appreciate
moving
that.
forward.
Yeah, I've got
Maybe
some space.
now's the time to start a new hobby. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick something up. I don't know what. It's like a whole new me I got room for up there in the old skull.
That big board game you wanted to play, do you just play that now?
Gloomhaven? Oh yeah, I haven't opened that in a long time. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, TBH.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I'm just
Two
gonna become a
birds.
Gloomhaven guy now because I'll have the
Which is
space in my
for
brain.
Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
All right, Ben. Thanks for having us.
It's been great.
Thanks for coming on. And again, looking forward to it. If people want to find, MK Podquest, where do they go hunting for it?
Boy, we are on all the podcast services. Search MK Podquest. Twitter at MK Podquest.
You can search
Instagram.
us on YouTube and
Yeah,
it will
Vero
come up.
at MK
URL.
Podquest.
We're on YouTube. There's a Tumblr actually that I never plug, but there is one out there.
Great.
And on YouTube, you will get the experience Ben just had. It is Ultimate MK Podquest, and it has visual aids.
Yes.
Wow, you guys put so much work into the show. It's inspiring.
Yeah.
Thank Neil for a lot of it, frankly. I'm willing to give him the credit. He is going above and beyond for let's be honest, a relatively small number of people who are curious about this TV show.
Yeah.
Well, Neil has the time because he has that weird medical condition where he doesn't need sleep.
That's
Yeah,
true.
you're not. That's
Well, actually,
that's
it's all of the zero sugar Coca-Cola cherry energy drinks that he's drinking.
Yeah. Well, they
I didn't
don't
even have
sell
to crack
balls
this
anymore,
bad
so what are
boy.
you going to do?
I know a 7-Eleven where you can still find
I
old
actually
bottles.
do. There's a place down the street from me called Galco's that is a grocery store that only
Galco's?
has 750 varieties of soda and
Oh
no
my God.
groceries, run by an old man who just loves soda. And
store
they
sells-
still sell balls. Yeah, I love it. It's a great place.
Incredible.
Yeah. They don't have Zemo though. One day. Cool. Well, again, thanks guys
All right.
for teaching me. Thank you, audience, for listening. And as always, why don't you guys do it?
Ooh, Neil, this is a big deal.
Finish him.
Nailed it. Perfect.
I can't believe we got it.